Peekaboo's crazy. Peekaboo. I just put them boogers in my chain. Peekaboo. 80 pointers like I'm Kobe Dang. What up, Pantheoners? All five of you. How you doing? Happy Thursday. Happy Pantheon Thursday. We on Thursday.
Anniversary edition. We started this pantheoning 12 months ago.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shoot. Excuse me. Blah. What's going on, Chill? I see you sporting the... Is that Venom or is that just symbiote Spider-Man? What are we doing?
Venom.
Cool.
Crazy. I'm talking about Eddie Brock, not Eddie Brock's son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, they actually did the service to both characters of naming Eddie Brock something completely or leveling him up before they, gave Dylan Brock the moniker of Venom,
If you read comics now, Mary Jane has the Venom. Oh, she's the all new Venom.
Is she? Oh no, I'm not in it right now, so that's stupid.
Because it's temporary. It's going to go back to the original. We kind of know Eddie Brock is Venom, and that's the status quo that we'll return to. So
I don't even know how that run ended because I stopped reading comics at that spot. But where Eddie had become basically the King in Black or whatever that symbiote god was, Meridian or whatever the fuck, and Dylan had become the main Venom. He was wearing the Venom symbiote. I don't even know where that shit ended. Like that was like the way back end off of Absolute Carnage and King in Black and all that stuff, the aftermath, and I never even finished it out.
There's no need to because it'll return to normal. There's a new Amazing Spider-Man.
I want to see how it. I want to see what happened.
You want to see what happened? What am I gonna do, bro? Some people like that stuff. I like storytelling. I like getting from point A to point B.
It was a good story. It wasn't
not
a bad
to go from
story
point
when I
A
was reading it.
to point B, C, D back to point A because there's a new writer now.
But that's comic books though. You can't avoid that. It's always going to end up in some sort of.
That's comic books though, Marcus. Your statement right there is the bane of my existence because that doesn't.
But it is though. It's one long continuous story that's been going on for generations.
Like, it doesn't mean you can't
avoid it.
It doesn't mean when Peter Parker gets married, you unmarry him because it just doesn't work for the character.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying to a certain degree, there's always going to be a degree of restart.
You're right.
Because there's not going to be one writer that writes one character forever.
Fine.
So
do start and restart without undo. Don't do the undo part.
Sure. Okay. I agree. You don't have to go back and retcon other writers' stuff unless it was crap. Unless it was Lord Voldemort writing BS on your favorite character. Then undo that shit.
Darius needs Cecil's teleportation device. What are you talking about? Who's Cecil?
Loser. You absolute noob.
Sully streams. Sully, your video on Jonathan Majors on Magazine just went viral for no reason. But congratulations. He says, Sinners is sounding like best movie of the year material. Coogler plus MBJ. It's a no-lose combo. You guys want to start there with Sinners?
Sure.
Okay. Lauren says, yo. Steve says, hey, yo. Zangbito says, yo.
What up?
The yos are winning. London's calling. What's good, black people?
What up?
Johnny says, no Darius. Need to learn Goku instant transmission technique.
Is my screen blurry to the audience?
Yeah.
Literally right when you said it. Okay, now it's clearing up. Now it's coming back. I think you're coming into focus. Look, wave your hand or something. Let me see how it's catching up. You good?
It's good.
Yeah, you good.
Wipe it down.
BOOSIE.
Did you guys see this?
I have not.
I didn't watch it too long.
Good.
It was very long for me. I thought it was going to be like a 10-minute look at the film, but 10-minute of him. What's he doing? Breaking it down?
We don't have to listen to all 10 minutes. Let's just get the gist, and we can give him his ups.
And here I am wanting to listen to all 10 minutes on stream. Okay.
Yeah, we definitely don't have to do that.
We're not doing that?
We definitely do not have to listen to all 10 minutes.
Let's go.
What's going on? I'm Ryan Coogler. In anticipation of the release of our newest film, Sinners, I just wanted to walk you guys through a little bit of information on how we made the film, as it might provide some context for what tickets you guys choose to buy once they go on sale. I'm really excited to announce that Sinners was captured on film. It's a format that I fell in love with when I was in film school. So I brought a few film strips along here. This is Super 8 film, which was used for like home videos and has a real beautiful aesthetic. Those little holes on the sides, those are called perforations or perfs, abbreviated. This is a piece of Super 16 film right here. This is the type of film that's very close to my heart. This is what we shot Fruitvale Station on. And it's crazy because this is the same material, just a little bit wider. And when a capture film gets wider, same as digital photography, what happens is you get a little bit more resolution and you get a shallower depth of field, meaning less of the image is in focus at any particular time. This right here is 35 millimeter film. This was the format for the majority of the industry history. A lot of masterpieces shot on this format. A lot of films that are close to my heart. And it's making a big comeback. Like this past film year, Nora was shot on film. Films like The Brutalist was shot on film. You got some filmmakers that always use the format. So Sinners, we shot on the big boy format entirely. This is what we call large format in motion picture photography. This is 65 millimeter. Crazy enough, the same material as this Super 8 right here, but just wider. So obviously, even more resolution, even shallower depth of field. And these perforations have a particular meaning because we shot the film using two different camera systems. One proprietary to Panavision, it's called Ultra Panavision 70, used on films like Ben-Hur and most recently The Hateful Eight. But another format we use is IMAX film cameras. Those cameras spin the film in a horizontal fashion, and they spin it using 15 perfs per frame. I'll show you guys what that looks like. So here we have a shot from the opening of our film Sinners. This is the same shot shown captured on IMAX film format, which is 15 perforations per frame, spun through horizontally. And this is that same image as it would look if it was captured on Ultra Panavision. 5 perforations per frame, with the film being sent through and exposed vertically. Whenever we shoot a scene, unless it's with the intention of being slow motion, we're shooting at 24 frames per second. So whether it's through a camera or through a projector, each one of these frames are moving through 24 frames per second. So about these frames, all right, each time it's exposed on one of our formats, the Ultra Panavision 70 millimeter format, okay, it's exposed with these 5 perforations, and it's exposed at an aspect ratio, which is basically the size of the rectangle that you're watching a movie on. It's exposed at a 2.76 to 1 aspect ratio. This is one of the widest formats you'll see a film projected on. Very rare to see a film projected in this format. The other format that we shot on was the IMAX film 15 per format. And once you expose the image on that, you get a ratio.
Just what are we? 3 minutes into this? The way that this man breaks down visuals, film, perforations, you know what I'm saying? Shots. The way that he's explaining this, I have never, not one time, heard Ryan Coogler get this technical. I've never heard him explain a story and it feels this well thought out. I've never heard him explain like a concept or an arc, story arc or anything like that, character motivation, and it feels this detailed or this thought out. I believe that's why, at least for me, Buddy his eye is so much better than his pen. And I think,
damn, he turned a compliment into a shot. Holy,
no, it wasn't a shot. No,
Marcus.
it's not a shot. It wasn't a shot. I'm
yes,
not saying
it was.
His pen is terrible. I'm saying that what he does from behind the camera is like eons stronger than anything he could provide writing. Like I feel like he could do himself a favor by collaborating with other writers and giving that side a little bit more credence in terms of where he goes and what actually makes it to the cutting board of his projects. If there's anything wrong with the story of Sinners that kind of affects the performance, that would be a travesty, because it sounds like this film is going to be shot like a Nolan type film, a Nolan-esque film. A lot of the stuff that I'm hearing this man say is a lot of the stuff that they said about Tenet, right? The different type of shots that they were getting, the way that they shot it, the film that they were using, the IMAX formatting. There's a lot of the stuff that they were talking about for Tenet. So now, whereas a week ago when I'm hearing these Christopher Nolan comparisons, I'm rolling my damn eyes. Hearing him say it, like hearing him vocalize it, okay,
Hearing the Mind the Game podcast, but for films,
that's not that bad. Okay, it's not that bad of a comparison, because now I can see him putting it together, like mapping it out the way that you would envision Christopher Nolan putting that much detail into something like that. I just feel like this is an untapped part of him, and it's the most shining part for me. It's the biggest part of his skill set. As he could lean into it even more. He could definitely lean into it more.
1, 4, 3 to 1. So the film was shot with 2 different aspect ratios, and this is the first time ever that a film has been released combining these 2. So
how could a film be shot in 2 different aspect formats? I don't understand that. Does that mean that there's a camera right beside the other camera, or like
they're probably
the
just
person holding it has 4 different lenses? This is the IMAX lens. This is that lens, and it's the same movie basically.
I don't know how these cameras work. What if you were able to shoot 2 different aspects within the same lens? Maybe there's a computer program that can, do that simultaneously. Who knows? Or multiple cameras, right? I've seen those. I don't know what they call them, but they have almost like multiple lenses on the same kind of mount. They spin depending on the shot they want at the time. Maybe you can have both of those angles or both of those perspectives shooting simultaneously. But yeah, no, I loved everything I just heard from dude. Again, he gives so much more thought when it's something that is his strength. This all sounds coherent. I'm following. I'm interested. I'm genuinely pulled in. I want to hear more. This is his strong suit.
I didn't initially listen. I was going to say I just didn't initially listen to it when I saw it on Twitter earlier. Listening to it now, listening to it now, I agree with everything Marcus is saying. He had me at the clip they released before this, though, the 1:29 clip. I was already seated. So I mean, I agree with that, but he had me at the clip they released.
Let's listen to a little bit more.
Fun. But when it comes down to the release, there's a lot of options for you guys. We'll talk about that. Okay. So when you guys go to buy your tickets, depending on where you live, it's gonna be.
I'm gonna buy it in IMAX.
A lot of options available to you. All right. There's 1 aspect ratio, that Ultra Panavision 276 ratio. That's gonna be the most widely available format to see the film the whole time in that ratio without the aspect ratios changing at all. If you live close to an IMAX theater and you choose to buy an IMAX ticket, you might have a 190 IMAX available to you, which for certain portions of the film, the aspect ratio will expand. And if you're especially lucky, you might live close to an IMAX 1:3 ratio theater, where you'll get the full impact of every image, how we intended to see it.
Got one of those
So
downtown.
let's talk a little bit about how films are shown. So today, 2025, the vast majority of theaters are using DCPs. That's a digital cinema package. It's a digital format of projection to maintain quality control. And it's basically a really, really expensive hard drive that has a file for the image and a file for the
Pause
sound.
real quick. So this is actually something that I have expert knowledge in. My first official job where I was cashing a paycheck every week was at a movie theater, in which I was fortunate to learn every position in there, even projection, before they switched over to this digital hard drive that Ryan is talking about. So they went from those large spools and projectors in those little tiny windows upstairs, in the attic of all the movie theaters. And now they're just kind of like computer terminals. You go there, you queue up the movie, you press a button, and it goes up. And there's a gigantic hard drive that gets sent in the movies directly from the studios. So that's how all that works now, at least in most theaters. There's probably some historical ones that still do film projectors. Good stuff. Watch the movie cut. If you don't, hey, no, listen, this wasn't that. Now, if he was explaining some story points in Creed, if he was, telling us where we going in Black Panther 3, it probably would have sounded like that. But this, no, this man Stilo. This is his Black Panther right here. This is his Black Panther comics. Talking about film, talking about different aspect ratios. Man's in his bag.
Yeah, I'll be seeing it in IMAX.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, for sure.
They got IMAX in Norman.
He tried to throw a shot at you. There ain't that many IMAX theaters left, though. There's a lot of.
It wouldn't be a shot at me. Yeah, you're shooting at Norman, not me. But no, Norman
that don't have them. Yeah,
Norman is the third largest city in Oklahoma. So yes,
Sorry.
Yes, it is. They do have a IMAX.
The other one, I think the one he was talking about, the aspect before IMAX, is that the Dolby Digital. So if you have a Marcus or a Regal in your area, that's probably a good option. Like one step down from the IMAX if you don't get there. I know with Dolby, they match their the screen size with the sound immersion as well. They kind of have the speakers kind of curving over you, so that's part of the experience as well as the difference in size on the screen. So something to keep in mind.
Johnny said it has 100 on Sinners. It's 100% Rotten Tomatoes. Certified.
I don't respect Rotten Tomatoes when they say something good. I don't respect
same thing. Thank you, Marcus. Too raw. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's what I'm talking about.
We can't keep pulling them back out when we want to use it. Yeah, wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't just keep pulling them out when it benefits us. Plus, this is all early previews. These are the people who have early looks at the movies. They have obviously relationships in some way with the studio. So let us go see the movies. Don't listen to Rotten Tomatoes. Either way, even if they're saying stuff that we want to hear.
There's one called Cinema Credit. It's the one where you ask people as they leave the movie theater, and what is the Cine Score? That's what it's called, Cinema Score. That's something.
That's a good one. Yeah, I mean that's pretty representative. I still say that the way that they collect it makes it a little limited, right? There's only so many cities that they're doing that in, and they're only collecting so much data to compile those averages on the audience scores. So just go see it yourself, man. Just go give your score, or listen to out of theater reviews so that you can get detailed, at least reviews that you can trust, as opposed to stuff that can be adjusted algorithmically, that can be, bombed in either direction. I don't trust, I guess, producers of data with limited reach to tell me about vast numbers, vast swaths of people. It's kind of like my problem with the Nelson score. You have to sign up to have your data pulled from the Nelson score. So if that's the case, how much of the American public are you actually polling when you're giving these numbers?
I think it's imperfect, and it's probably not the numbers they use. They probably got some special spyware technology that they can't admit they have access to get
that would be crazy. They're big brothering the numbers out of us. That would be nuts.
They got a hookup with
NSA. They got an inside man and NSA. Hey, these days you can get them type of connections. It's an amusement park over there these days.
You said something that I want to clarify. So they only go to select cities for Cinema Score, but to me, I don't care if you're in Norman or Toronto. If a movie's good, a movie's good. Like, why would the person go?
But what if it's performing better in one place than it's another? It can be unrepresentative. It can give you false conclusions about the data. If it scores higher in the city than it is in the rural areas of America.
For a cowboy movie, fine. I can definitely understand that.
It doesn't matter really what the demographic is. That's why you take you get the largest amount of numbers that you can.
You should, yes. And you should diversify. Yeah, I understand you should. I just don't think that the discrepancy, the difference in the results from your Cinema Score are going to really vary that much. Someone in Jacksonville knows exactly how good a movie is if they're in Chicago, if they're in Poughkeepsie or
I mean, it matters though. It does. I mean, it affects the curve, and if you're going to pay attention to it and make your decision on whether or not to watch the movie over it, I think it's just a better choice to kind of ignore that stuff and lean on individuals either that you trust or that are willing to give you detailed responses as to why they feel a movie is either good or bad. Out of theaters are the best for me. I like out of theaters because you can't fake it. Like if you're bullshitting me, if you didn't pay attention or you don't actually know what you're talking about, it'll tell in the out of theater.
All the speaking he did and explaining what is ScreenX and all that, and I'll check out the rest of it. And it was useful. But the most important thing to me is like you'll get more picture when we go vertically. We shot it intending for IMAX. I'm blessed to have IMAX. I'm going to see it in IMAX when I can.
The depth thing is important too. The depth thing is very important because
not as important
the shallowness
to me.
It's very important because it changes how clear the picture is going to be in that stretched format. You ever see things in IMAX and yeah, it's big, or they'll have it in 3D, but when you actually get down to the finer points of it, kind of gets a little pixelated because it's stretched so far. It's going to give you a pristine quality, but at an immense size. This thing is going to play well at the drive-in. I actually want to go see it outside. I might go see it at the drive-in. I might just go do that. Go see a twofer. But
you know what? That wouldn't be bad either to see it at the drive-in. I didn't even think about that.
Y'all still got drive-ins in Norman?
Not in Norman, but we do in Oklahoma City.
I'm just saying it's not that many left.
We have actually, being that it is Oklahoma, there are quite a few because those country towns have a lot of them. Yep. But yeah, the city has one.
Ohio has a lot, but Columbus only got one left. We hit it every summer.
Ours got popular when lockdowns were happening.
Blue, like, damn, y'all got drive-in still? Yeah, it's bad out.
Sinners, big screen IMAX, and no matter how much criticism we got for Ryan Coogler, this has nothing to do with that. I can definitely compartmentalize and go, black-led movie. From what's being advertised, it's not really about the Klan. Remember when the initial reports came out, it was about the Klan, and we're like, well,
about racist vampires is what they said.
No, it doesn't look like that's what it's going to be, and if it is, it'll be such a theme that is like it's not that big of a theme. Okay, so I'm good. I want it to be very successful, and I'll be checking it out one for sure. I'll support it just like I support Iyanu, which you can stream on HBO Max. All 3 episodes. It began with 3 episodes. 3 episodes. It's better than Andor. You can check out Iyanu.
It was very good. I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. I actually watched episode 3 twice already.
Why is my boy from Norman smiling right now?
Because I don't want to watch Sagwa.
First of all, don't disrespect her. She's the chosen one. And you just check her out. First of all, I kind of tempered my expectations on how different it was going to be from Avatar because of that article that we read on here. So I knew it was going to be a lot of similarities to the story. I will say at first it was a little bit shocking. It was a little bit jarring. But all in all, I think there's a lot of detail and attention paid to these characters in the way that they're animated, the way that they tell the stories, the way that the dialogue is written. There's a lot of attention to detail that's not shown to Black characters anywhere. You see
that compliment that he just gave? That's what a compliment sounds like. What you did with Ryan Coogler was not a compliment.
That was a compliment.
All right.
It absolutely was a compliment. I never said anything about Ryan. I never said anything bad about Ryan's pen, at least not today. I said that his cinematography skills are far and away better than his writing skills. It just is a thing. You can listen to him talk about stories and then listen to him talking about shooting film, and it almost doesn't sound like the same person. With Iyanu, I'm looking at their hands and how they have a white side to their hands. I didn't know that I needed to see that, or that I had never seen it, better yet, on a cartoon character, a Black cartoon character before, until I seen Iyanu. The way that their lips are not.
It's in the Boondocks.
The Boondocks. Okay, Boondocks. Is it in Boondocks? I didn't notice it. Definitely didn't notice it. The white hand side.
Mm-hmm.
They got Japanese to animate that, didn't they? They went to that Japanese studio to animate it.
I don't know, but it's niggas in it.
it was a black creator,
Aaron
We
Magruder.
got about 90% the way there. But yeah, no, a lot of attention to detail, hair texture, of course. The way that they speak, like they're not really relenting on the dialect. Like it was tough at a few times to figure out, what they're saying, but the context clues, and they do speak plainly enough for you to follow. But they don't necessarily westernize it to the point where you couldn't believe that these people are in some far off land, way miles, worlds away from here.
Yep.
So
they start off with the explanation of what the land is that they are in.
Mm-hmm. I like it. It's dope. I want to see more.
Last week, CinemaCon took place. It'd be nice if we had like more insight and more advantages to join. We don't have that. But we do have a Padawan who was graduated. We got Jedi Mike. Hello.
Jedi Mike.
Yo, Padawan. Okay.
Graduated Padawan.
Graduated. Okay. Gotcha. Hey, how you guys doing?
Glad you survived Order 66.
Yeah, I survived. Yeah. I was the Negro they couldn't kill. Anyway, or they couldn't catch. I'll just say that. But anyway, I came. I went to Cinemacon in Las Vegas last week. I know I got your text about last week, but literally as your stream
don't worry about that. Nobody cares. Sinners.
Okay.
I heard that was the belle of the ball. Please tell me Sinners over. Like it was the talk of the town, and it's not just my algorithm. It really was important.
Yeah, so we got some merch and everything, and everything like that. I had some photos I took at the presentation and everything. So mainly because the cast was doing their press tour and everything. I actually had some friends of mine. We had to leave early because they had to go to New York for the premiere and actually interview them in person. So it was happening the same day as the Disney presentation. So it was a talk of the town for Warner Brothers.
Good.
For that, but along with Superman and everything. But that was he basically Ryan Coogler just gave a message saying how this is his most personal film that he's done, and I think some of the footage probably released online. Him talking about that, regarding his family, and saying the tone, the era of Black people in America that he wanted to highlight in this. But that was pretty much it. I did have some friends actually seen the film. I'll be seeing it on Monday of next week, so I'll be going to the press screening for that here, and I'm in DC, so yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What's another movie? Yeah, let's keep it Warner Brothers. You said Superman. We care about Superman. What's the word?
Okay. So
okay.
Yeah.
So the footage that they showed was an almost 95% what they released online, attached to the Minecraft thing, with the Superman and crypto and all that stuff. There was a few scenes that were different. They have a featurette, with a bunch of other footage in there, just talking about the cast and just telling they want to do with Superman. But really, we had James Gunn, and then the main three, cast members to come up on stage, and
Peter Safran.
What? Oh, Peter Safran was there too.
Okay.
And which, by the way, they did also before they even brought up Superman, it regarded the DC, they basically presented like their lineup of having Warner Brothers and WB Animation as its own studio, and along with DC Studios. And with WB Animation, they also showed us some footage of that dynamic duo film that they announced with the Dick Grayson and Jason Todd film that they're working on with this like claymation type of puppetry type of animation, and it did show like a quick glimpse of that. It looks pretty good. But okay. They're still having DC, but they're separating their studios.
Step into Wix Studio
with WB Animation, DC Studios, and then just Warner Brothers proper. But with Superman, they brought him on stage and everything, and they spent like a good half hour, almost like just talking about the characters and the tone that they want to do and everything for this new iteration and stuff. And you're seeing David, he didn't come off like he was being cocky, like he was on the place. He actually seemed he was nervous, he was stuttering a little bit. But Rachel, to me, I think that was the best casting from out of three, in my opinion, as Lois Lane. She was talking about how she studied journalism and, also getting people in the industry, just understanding that perspective and more of her, mannerisms. I mean, again, I'm a journalist. I don't know how much you really need to know, but anyway, but other than, it's kind of, plain and simple. But Nicholas Hoult also, he was kind of just saying like how his dynamic between Superman and his Lex Luthor, and as you've seen them on stage, you see how tall they are. I think this is the most like physically imposing duo of Superman and Lex we have gotten cinematically, and you kind of seen that there on stage.
Increase the IMAX ratio.
Right, yeah, right. Increase the IMAX ratio. But they spent a lot of time in James talking about crypto, and this is before they showed us the footage, which was crypto heavy, right? But just saying like, hey, he took this inspiration from his own dog that he rescued and everything. It's just saying, hey, listen, think about, a dog that, that's destroying everything. And I'm like, let's give that to Superman. Right. And I think that's a cool concept again for, people who want to adopt and everything like that. I think that's going to give a huge pull to the audience and everything. But yeah, they were spending a lot of time talking about crypto. And they announced they're making a animated short of crypto after the film was released. So like the I Am Groot on Disney Plus with Marvel.
Yeah, the thing where they try to chase an Oscar. They did a Maggie Simpson one. They everyone gets an Oscar for those shorts. Everyone tries.
I said he misses that. He really misses the Guardian stuff, y'all. He really liked doing it. He's trying to mix and match. He wants to bring back his old thing and his new thing. He wants to kind of get that old thing back,
Yeah. And even then, he's mentioned Guardians, saying, hey, thank you guys for the success of, reaching out, and seeing the film before I departed DC. He literally said that. I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, it came out like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
but
the reason why he said that was to remind all of you guys, I'm the Guardians dude and I'm successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but that, aside from that, they showed the footage. Now, I didn't really give my thoughts about the footage out of presentation reaction. This is my thing. You put this weight on this Superman footage and everything, and I'm the type of person, listen, I read the comics, as you can obviously tell, and all that stuff. So this stuff means a lot to me. That being said, as a critic, I'm just going to keep it a buck. I'm not saying was blown away by what I saw. As a comic fan, I'm like, okay, cool. With the robots helping him, from part of the Fortress of Solitude, that turning to get into sun, yellow sun radiation and everything. Cool. Crypto being a dog and interaction with that. Yeah, I watched the Crypto show back in the day. I hope you did too. Yeah, it was kind of giving those feels. But but in terms of like any action, anything like that, no, it was kind of like the recut of this first trailer we saw that got released, which I thought was good. Wasn't phenomenal, just good. And for me, this film, to me at the moment, it only won me on terms of the tone. And if in terms of having direction of these characters, that's really all that matters. Action and all that stuff.
They're not going to show you that in the trailer, the direction of the characters.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, and you get a little bit interaction with Lois Lane and Clark, which it was revealed that they've basically been in a relationship for like 3 months prior to the movie starting. And you kind of seen that dynamic, like she knows that he's Superman and all that. Mm-hmm. And she's doing an interview with them in their living room. And it looks interesting, right? I'm going to see that dynamic. But aside from that, again, I'm going to be there day one. And I hope, again, everybody, hopefully this film can be the spark to lead this new generation for DC films and stuff. Because again, I want to see the entire thing prosper, not just Superman. I mean, if Superman fails, that goes to the Green Lantern show. That goes into the Supergirl thing. That goes to the next Batman film. Like, I want this to succeed so those can prosper. So yeah.
You said something that stuck out to me. The idea that James Gunn wasn't going to be doing in a Superman origin film, right? So they are dropping right in the middle of Lois and Superman's relationship. Clark is already working at the Daily Bugle. He's already fighting crime. Daily Bugle, Daily Planet. Mixing up universes here. Right, so he's already in the mix of being Superman, right? And living his life at the same time. Mm-hmm. There was a shot. Me and Josh was talking about this on Sunday. There's a shot in the trailer where he's hugging what I would assume is Jonathan Kent. He's hugging his dad and he's crying, getting real emotional. And I just wonder, on top of some other things, we won't get too deep into any, plot leaks or anything like that. I don't want to ruin the movie for nobody. But what I saw is something I'm thinking that they're going a little bit different in terms of how they're setting up his there you go. Yeah. His parental, his motivations, right? The person who pushes him and ends up being his moral barometer going forward. I think that person might have already been lost. I just don't think it's the person we're accustomed to.
Right.
Which is an interesting twist on top of other interesting changes that it seems like this Superman is going to be going through. So I wonder if that came up in conversation at all while you were around. If you might even noticed.
Oh no, it was. I mean, I noticed it when the first trailer dropped. Because that stuff is the stuff I pick out. Like, hey, listen, you even in the Smallville era, in the Man of Steel era, or even the Superman Lois era, right? Where the mom got off like in the first episode. Like that's a different season of Superman's life. Here, there could be something artistically different. I wouldn't say I'll necessarily be opposed to it. I just want to know, like, hey, listen. The Kents, and especially Pa and Ma Kent, are very, very crucial to that, fundamental of Clark, not just the Kal-El Superman persona is of Clark as a character. So I hope, and again, if this is the direction that James is going, again, talking about who truly is, Superman and who he is of representing kindness and all stuff. Well, guess what? He's a farm boy at heart. I mean, even then, like when he was arguing with Crypto in the Fortress of Solitude, he wasn't cussing. He was like, Dosh Garnet or something to Clark, to the Crypto. And I was like, okay, I guess he's, trying to be a Boy Scout literally, which again would make sense if he's interacting with other DC characters who are darker than who are calling him a Boy Scout. Yeah, because he's from Kansas. But
I have to hear it for myself because that could be cringy.
It could be, but it's the way you do it. I think, again, it was just a shot in the trailer where like, oh, I noticed that. Now, if they keep beating you over the head over it, like he just, like this golden child and everything like that, I was like, okay, well, let's be realistic here. I understand we're dealing with fantastical characters. But to your point, I think if, again, the Kents are very crucial to Clark's identity. So if they want to do something different in terms of parental figures, I'd be open to it. I won't be opposed if one, person is gone, then the other, I won't be opposed.
Still there.
Yeah. So
they're talking about who's going to win July. Sheed says Jurassic Park will dominate.
Jurassic Park is my bet.
What was the Jurassic World looking like? Does it look like they're going to win?
Well, I will just say Mahershala Ali was throwing, and rubbing his face. I did win 2 Oscars. That's Charles Hanson. You didn't. Like literally, director was like, "Yeah, hey, you were Oscar winner. Excuse me, two-time. Yeah. Hey, Charles, you got an Oscar, right? No. Yeah, it was down on stage. Yeah, I was like, yeah. But I mean, again, you're next to it. You're next to OG here. But anyway, but yeah, I saw in the footage I saw for Jurassic Park or Jurassic World look good. But Fantastic Four was, out of the 3, was the one I was most blown away by what they showed us.
That's what I'm curious about. How did Fantastic Four do? What did they show?
So we know about, you guys report about the leaks and everything, some of those concept arts and stuff, right? And so what they simply confirm, yes, Sue Storm is pregnant. And so Franklin Richards is coming. Now we don't know if Franklin Richards be born in this movie or not, whatever. But when I saw the synopsis,
she's pregnant with Valeria, which maybe Franklin.
It's Franklin.
It's Franklin. He'll be born.
No, it's Frank. No, because there's a reason why. Because
we ain't doing that no more. It's Franklin.
Right, because the synopsis of this movie saying that this gets personal, with Galactus. So that's the conflict, and the only way for it to get personal is with Franklin. So it just makes sense. Also, you're dealing with reality, like bending and everything, and what they're going with Secret Wars. I'm like, Franklin is very, very crucial to Secret Wars, especially the Jonathan Hickman run and everything. But they showed us that whatever happened with the Fantastic Four getting their powers, that was summoned or that made a signal into whatever in the universe and space that brought Galactus into deciding, hey, I'm gonna bring judgment to Earth. And what happened is you saw Silver Surfer. We got first look at her. I think she looks decent. I think anyone can nitpick. Is it wise?
What is the look? Is it comic accurate looking?
Comic accurate in terms of how the Alex Ross drawings are of Silver Surfer, but like you can tell.
Thank you, Jedi Mike, for answering my question. Chill put his hands up as if the question was a crazy one. But thank you, Jedi Mike, for answering that question for me.
Yeah, you're not a mind reader. I put my hand up for a different reason, but keep going, Mike.
It's that's what it looks like. Yeah, you can tell it. I think it looks fine to me. But what we saw here, and you're seeing now. This is a big crucial thing for me. Pedro Pascal is the only iffy casting out of this entire list for me. I am not fully sold on until I see this movie. But I got a glimpse of it in this footage in the trailer, which I think there might be showing a trailer either next week or the following week, because Thunderbolts is coming out, but all the promotional art, is coming. So I hope they show what they showed us, showed it to you guys, because even with Disney, everything that they showed us here, they released it. The Tron footage is exactly the same. What we saw. So hopefully it's the same for Fantastic Four. Pedro, you're seeing a sense of him as Reed Richards, where it's like he's carrying this burden, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to lose and basically lead to destruction of humanity, right? And to a point where the Fantastic Four is celebrated, and as celebrities, right? And everyone thinking like, this team can do no wrong. So when Silver Surfer comes up saying, hey, judgment is coming upon you, and this world gonna be destroyed, and then civilians are asking Reed Richards, hey, are we gonna be okay? Are we safe? And he's like, I don't know. And he has such a despair look on his face. But I'm thinking, okay, Reed Richards again is the most intellectual character in the Marvel universe, comic wise, right? But what is that? Someone with knowledge also comes burden, right? With that type of dynamic of like, hey, it's like I am
the movie for them.
I'm just saying, if they pull this off, I'm not. Hey, if they don't, I'm gonna be the first one. Like, they missed this. I'll say it. Cause I got a job to do. But yeah, it's like it's seeing that dynamic of you being the smartest person, in the Marvel universe, also carrying the most burden and thinking like, hey, like if I lose, this is all gonna be my fault because I can solve this problem. I can solve this equation, which then that adds a dynamic in his own marriage, with Sue, like in the comics. It's just like he's so blindly devoted on solving issues and everything, and that causes just a issue in his family dynamic. But that's who the character Reed Richards is, and I saw a glimpse of that in the footage we saw. But I hope they capitalize it, the fact that they are, that she is pregnant and everything. But there was a cool shot of the Thing. He doesn't have the costume. You see him just just rock form, shirt off and everything, like classic look, and him pulling a ship, a naval ship and everything. It's almost similar to
normal size, like he's just the normal size of a regular dude.
Normal size, yeah, but like still, he's strong,
Womp, womp, womp.
I don't know. It's just like the camera may look like he's bigger, but like we already saw the first trailer. Yeah, he's just about 6 feet. So, but the way they shot it, the camera, I know how they play with us with angles. You all talked about it. Like they made it look like he's bigger than what he actually is, but But I was the Fantastic Four footage for me was the best in terms of Disney footage they showed us. But yeah.
Why do you think they're reshooting? Isn't that the latest news from Fantastic Four? Aren't they doing reshoots?
Well, they already started principal photography, if they haven't already, for Doomsday now, and I think they might be just be doing some things, just kind of make some type of connectivity there. Even though Matt, the director, he said, "Oh yeah, there's no cameos, there's no Easter eggs," and I'm like, "Yeah."
So that's what we're trying to. But why so late? Why are we connecting the MCU and the movie comes out in July? How do we not have Well, I mean, we're kind of speculating here. I don't want to get too worked up, but the idea that we would be at this late a date trying to connect threads to Fantastic Four, not Doomsday. Like we are taking things that will eventually end up in Doomsday. How did we not already have that idea already when we were shooting this film?
Well, because again, I'm a journalist here. For what I've heard, they're still developing the script as they're moving.
You about to make me run out my house. I'm about to go hit a lap. Oh
so,
man.
Just saying that.
The reshooting thing. The reshooting is a problem, of course. I am also in favor of improving a movie. So if they get a late, on the 9th hour,
right? Yeah. The trend for Marvel late in the game reshoots. That has not been a good thing for them as of late. It wasn't a good thing for Brave New World. It wasn't a good thing for Thor: Love and Thunder or Quantumania. It wasn't a good thing for the Marvels. When they start hatcheting the thing late in the game, it ends up not very good.
I'm still optimistically hopeful for Fantastic Four. This is a film that didn't have any reshoots or any reshoots at all during production.
During actual
at
production.
all. We heard nothing.
Right, for sure.
During actual production. So I think anything that they're doing right now, if it's to further the connectivity to Doomsday, the relevancy of everything, then I'm on board with that, because as I've said, anything like this Daredevil show, it's so boring because what's the relevancy to Doomsday? So if they're tightening it up and getting it to, where it's like, okay, this flows.
But so then what if it ends up being what you got at the end of Brave New World? What if that's your connection? Well, first of all, ain't nobody paying attention to that, bro.
Thank you.
We've been up here talking. We didn't had you up here for what, 20 minutes? You haven't mentioned that movie at all.
He was gonna get to it though.
None of us said anything about it. I mean, you got the floor if you want to talk about it for sure. Well, but
I didn't want to interrupt you, man. Go ahead, finish with your point.
Yeah, I got a Fantastic Four point also.
I was just saying. When they kind of haphazardly threw that connection into future phases at the end of Brave New World, it kind of was what it was. It was a little lackluster. I'm hoping that it is better than how we received that little end credit scene. I hope it's something a little bit more substantial to make up for some of the letdown that we're talking about right now with Born Again and some other projects.
I had revolt in my system when I heard there's not going to be Easter eggs and no cameos. I think that's the wrong way to promote. I think you say, you never know what you're going to see here. Just because it's in a different universe doesn't mean something. Yeah. And that's that. But then Darius did say that there is some extra special stuff there. So good. He's just lying. He just advertised incorrectly, I think.
Or this is the changes. Maybe there wasn't before and now there's going to be.
Oh no, they're definitely lying. Again, just from the I'm not spoiling anything for anybody, from the leaks and rumors and things that we do know about this film. Everything that you said about Reed lines up with the leaks and rumors for this film, exactly how he's going to play out in this film. And I think it's going to shock some people. But no, they're lying. They're definitely lying. He's just saying that.
But something that this movie is going to have against it is that I don't care if Galactus eats Earth, because it's not the Earth. It's not the MCU. So, I hope everyone lives. Who cares?
They got to make us care about the world before Galactus eats it.
Yeah, well, it's nothing significant is going to happen because it's another world.
I think so. To that point, so I this is just me. Us just being, just us speculating as we do all the time, and with these movies is like, I suspect that the end of the movie that this universe is going to this world going to get destroyed, but in a similar style of like Infinity War or whatever you want to call it, where like, oh well, the heroes lose, so like, hey, look how great and change. No, we did with this. Like, no, you've done this before. What I want to see more of anything else is kind of establishing again this dynamic of this team in a more modern style. Because listen, I grew up. I mean, we're around the same age and everything. The first Fantastic Four movie, the first one. Right, with Chris Evans and that crew, right? That has a little nostalgia there for me, even though I saw Chris again showed up, like that vibe and that feeling of wander, exploration and stuff, but also just that family dynamic. We haven't gotten.
They actually had Silver Surfer in it.
They actually had Silver Surfer, right? You know, shout out to Lawrence Fishburne. But seriously, like, I hope that they pull this off into a way where this being a new universe for your film actually pays off, not in trying to connect it as a setup for Doomsday, but just for Fantastic Four, the team you've been waiting for years to come finally in the MCU, that you deliver and that they make a staple like, hey, we are the team and in the MCU. Just like Guardians of the Galaxy made a name for themselves. Fantastic Four, the brand, we need to solidify it back into a brighter form in the conversation when we talk about Marvel, you know. So so that's why that's the only thing I just wanted really for it to deliver, and that is more just terms of making it popular, but more importantly, making it good. Because again, that's the end goal here. If it ain't good, I don't care. You bought a freaking studio to finally make this movie in the MCU. If it sucked the third time, we screwed.
That has been my thing too, man, is that as much as, like you said, the nostalgia that you have from those early movies, not so much for fan four sake, but there just hasn't been a lot of proven box office success from Fantastic Four as a silver screen property. So for me, it's like, well, first of all, name a number. Let's put a number on it to define success. And then let's talk about how far beyond that number realistically we can see it going, just based off of prior traffic to the title, right? Not so much to the production and how good it was, because I mean, there are a lot of things to criticize, but how much traffic did the title itself bring in? There have been other failures that have bring in better dollar amounts. Just ask Lucasfilm. There's a way to do it.
Bingo.
There's a way to do it. So with that being said, they kind of got two hurdles to cross here. You are the movie that's expected to bring things back to life, right? I know we put a lot of expectancy on Doomsday, but Fantastic Four is going to be that first signal on whether or not, you know, things are actually getting better or not, whether or not we can actually do this.
The ending of it, yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see. They've got a kind of a steep hill to climb there. So
I said this. Speaking of Thunderbolts, I was going to go into that because you're talking about box office. Let's talk about numbers because that's still what's important. Guardians of the Galaxy, the last non-multiversal movie you want to call it, or that's not Spider-Man or X-Men or anything like that, right? The big brand name, right? It made over $845 million, right? Which that was still to consider a win at the time, right? I don't count Deadpool and Wolverine success as then Marvel's back in terms of them making consistent track record of that. No, because you have to judge Thunderbolts. You got to judge Brave New World. You have to judge Fantastic Four. Those movies, those three in 1 year, and this year of 2025 is the year. This is Judgment Year. This is Judgment Year.
I'm gonna give them points for Deadpool. I'll give them a points for that one because it was one of their movies. They could have said no.
No, that was a Ryan Reynolds movie. It's a Ryan Reynolds movie. All right. It is not Kevin Feige, let's make the stuff you already have in your disposal instead of IP you have acquired. So
he's saying some shit now. Now he's
come on now. Yeah. So I'm saying when Thunderbolts, I think tonally, I will say that I have to see how this film's gonna be, because I'm gonna tell you this: I only care about maybe 3 characters out of this whole thing, and that's a lot. That's a lot. Out of one character as a comic fan that I want to see them deliver. Sentry, which they keep like teasing him, and everything, and in the footage, even for Cinemacon, I thought we were gonna get see the full look. The toys leaked, we all saw it, and everything, and I'm like, literally, one of my friends and I were in the theater watching the footage, and then like how they just teased it and it went straight to the rest of the trailer, and we're looking like, why do they keep playing like that?
I'm glad they've done that though. I'm glad they've done that. They need to hold off on some things. They need to have some people actually sit in the theater and see it for the first time.
Are y'all saying that what I'm seeing of the void in the previews is not going to be the whole void, right? That's not like that's okay. Good. I'll give it
described. It's been described as the Upside Down in Stranger Things.
So that's what when I'm thinking Brian Michael Bendis New Avengers, I'm thinking like otherworldly kind of alter reality. Emma Frost had to go into this mind's man and drag him out.
Right.
Yeah,
So I think,
you know what
yeah.
I mean?
They might have a similar scene with this because there's like certain footage they see all of them go in a dream sequence. Like you see Elena looking at herself, whatever, and all that. So it's probably something like that. But yeah, I only care about really, the 3 characters. Like I like.
What's the best part of that cereal box? What's the highlight of it? Does it have like low fat, full of Russian?
Well, actually, you can see here they have the nutrition value here.
25,000 calories.
We can't read it, but just say it.
So they have 88% of courage, 12% reliability, 92% strength. That's a stretch. Honesty is 7%. Teamwork is 4%. Patience is 11%. Confidence is 96%. Humility is 3%. Wisdom is 9%. Grit is 88%. Fairness is 6%. Optimism is 2%. Lethalness is 92%. And loyalty is TBD, to be determined. So, yeah.
They're advertising the movie, right? Yeah.
Yeah, in the Tweety box, what you want to call it. But that's, yeah.
And do you think never mind. He wouldn't have said that. Kevin Feige, we didn't even mention him. He took the stage for all these presentations, right?
No. It was a video, my dude. It was a video from him on set of Doomsday saying we are a couple of days
because he's busy
showing
filming
principal photography for Doomsday. But I'm going to tell you, yes. So yeah, that's
I
how
can see why he wouldn't be there, so I can give him points. But at first, why isn't he attending these things? He wasn't at the Brave New World red carpet. Why is he avoiding media? Maybe because someone's going to ask him a Recast T'Challa question like Ryan Coogler or something that they don't want to have to get in front of.
No.
He's trying to make sure that Doomsday is a fucking smash.
Yeah. And again, he reiterated that, hey, there's still more announcements of casting to be, confirmed, but he still didn't say it like, hey, last week we revealed a bunch of chairs. We still got more to reveal, but we're not going to tell you that now because we're only a couple of days of, and he mentioned we have the Avengers, the Thunderbolts, the Fantastic Four, some of the original X-Men, and the Wakandans. So
he mentioned the Wakandans second or last?
I think was it third, not second, third. He said the Fantastic Four before them.
But before that sentence, he did say we have a diverse cast, right? Like he was talking about diversity. That's why he said that.
Oh, they kept mentioning that not just with Marvel, all these studios kept saying we have such a diverse slate here. We have such a diverse cast of films on it. So yeah,
cool. Outside of the superhero stuff that we just covered right now, and Sinners, what is the Pantheon audience, which you are a member of? What would they like to hear right now from all the diversity at CinemaCon? What did Sony give? What did Paramount do that was black led?
So Sony. And I would say, black led. We had to wait till freaking MGM Studios for their announcement because they have a film. I think that's based off a play with Vivica A. Fox, Sterling K. Brown called "Is God Is." That's the only film that they. It's a revenge. It's a revenge film, right? And now it's weird because they didn't have the actual creator of that story, of the creator of the play. She was in the audience, but she wasn't on stage. That's kind of weird. Yeah, I was counting how many black people was on that damn stage with one hand. Me and my friend, Jamie from Black Girl Nerds, we like, okay, how many this? Okay, it's 4. All right, it's 4 here. All right, are we gonna get to sit? I don't know. It literally. They mentioned for Paramount for the children of
Blood and
Bones that's in production right now. That they didn't show no footage or anything, but they just said that they're in development and they're in production of it right now.
Was there anybody there? No actors there?
No.
Anything more?
Said, diversity, but where was it?
Where were we?
Right. I will say.
No, I want to know more about Okay, actually, go ahead.
It was it was brief, bro. It was brief. I'm like, they mentioned it. We clapped. Like, obviously, we clapped. We know we clapped, but like, but like they wanted like, wait, what is that? Whatever. But they just move on to the next slate.
That's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear how loud is the applaud, and was it longer than the next thing that they like? Did it stand out with the applause?
No, just when the logo popped up, you hear people in the audience like, yes, like that. And that was it. And then it went to the next movie.
So how many movies got a yes from the audience compared to Children of Blood and Bone?
So they had Paramount, the footage that he had, again, the big ones that prepare for was like Mission Impossible, for Lionsgate, The Weeknd showed up for his film with Jenna Ortega, and he performed.
Letting that man act.
Well, first of all, I call BS on that presentation because Lionsgate, when talking about Black, last year, the Lionsgate presentation ended with them showing footage for Michael Jackson, even when it was shooting for 2 weeks. All right.
Whoa. Rewind. Sorry. What they show for Mike?
So they show us Coleman Domingo, as his dad, and they show Nia Long and showed what's his name, Jabari. I forgot the
his
actor
nephew or the one who's playing
Jabari
him.
Banks.
Yes,
his nephew.
Yes, you saw more of him, and then you just saw them. Yeah, Jafar. Yeah, you see him performing, but it was like 2 weeks of footage. It was just a bunch of clips that was and along with the song "Looking the Man in the Mirror" and everything. But 2 weeks of filming. 2 weeks last year. This year. No logo, just mentioning, we're still working on the Michael Jackson movie, and we can't wait to tell you the story of this great icon, this legend. All right, next movie. And when I tell you the press audience, like in the press section, we're sitting here, we're looking like, wait, are you serious? It's like they didn't mention, they didn't even show the logo, and the reason why, because this movie's being reshot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, that's worrisome.
How much do you know about the particulars? Like, is this something that the director put something erroneous in there? It's almost like a poison pill, or is it just we're fighting already litigated issues?
It's a story. It's a story that they're continually changing, which we thought when he said last year that, we're going to cover everything. We got the script done and everything. We're going to cover all the controversy along with his success and everything. Full, overlay of his story. So like, okay, so you telling us last year you got it right, but then this year, like, we're still working on it. Which us in the press, not the general audience, the press knows you're still working on this story because you're still pushing legally of what you want to put out in this film and not. And again, one of my friends is an actor in the film. Like, he's starting his career and everything, but he's back like, dude. I was like, they're reshooting this, and then there's conversation that they'd probably be splitting this movie in 2 parts.
That's the thing that I've been hearing too, that they're talking about splitting it in 2 parts, and one coming out in the beginning of the month, one at the end of like, what are they doing? I thought we were just telling.
Same month, different weeks. We're doing
crazy
for movies.
Well, it's like Jedi Mike said. At the last year, we were told. We are covering everything. We are going to dive into all the legal issues. We're going to dive into the good, the bad. I remember that interview.
Yeah.
And now everything is changing.
They had the logo, Michael. It was beautiful and everything. They end the presentation with that, right? I was like, I was shocked. Like they showed a footage after 2 weeks of filming. Okay, Lionsgate, let's go. And this year it was nothing, man. And then they should give us The Weeknd on a Tuesday. Fuck that. Come on.
We detoured into Lionsgate, but I was asking about Children of Blood and Bone and how did the applause and the reception compare to the announcements of some of the other movies?
It was brief. I bet you nobody aside from us really knew what it was. And like you could tell people who knew of the IP and who didn't. That's what I just sensed just from the auditorium. That was like, because I understand understanding audience like reaction to it. But again, they were just the way they were moving the announcements was just, again, they just mentioned it for like 2 seconds. We're in development on it. And this is director, and we have amazing cast here, diverse cast here, and now go on to the next movie.
They actually said diverse?
Yes, they did.
Is it right? Is it right to call it diverse?
Well, it was, us, color people.
It's diverse as in we finally get a chance. We in the door. We in the room.
You got it,
I mean to say that everybody there is like black with melanin levels that are high, except for Madeline Stenberg. It's like everyone is the same, so it's not diverse. There's not a Chinese, there's not a Latino, there's not an Indian.
Again, diversity to them means you get your turn.
You got a POC.
You get your. This is the black people's turn. Diversity. Yeah. But this is what I think Raymond is alluding to, kind of what I was getting at. One of the accusers did settle with Michael Jackson, and so it kind of precludes their story from being that. And that's my whole thing is like, I feel like most of this had to have already been covered. Like what is available to use in the story and what's not. Why would this have been put into the story if you knew we were going to come up against this legal battle? It just doesn't make very much sense to me. Seems like it almost feels like it was done purposely, which feels kind of wrong for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They dropped the ball. Like Lily Lionsgate, what I consider was the worst presentation this week because of that Michael Jackson news. It's like, how dare you? Like that's literally where I'm just like, I was here last year. You showed me footage, and then you don't even put the damn logo on the screen. Really? Come on,
Raymond. I'll do it again. So for Children of Blood and Bone, since it's coming in January of 2027, next year at CinemaCon, you probably will get that trailer probably before it hits the public, right? You'll get that trailer. They'll still be 9 months away from its release.
March.
But that's what we're expecting. They're going to really show out with that. Because Paramount, how many IMAX screenings do they get? How many premiere screens do they get on the 52-week schedule? Disney and Warner Brothers dominate that. So this is one of the rare times. I think for like 3-4 straight weeks, they will have the IMAX theaters in January of 2027.
Yeah, I know. For next year, I guarantee you that's one of the footage they're going to show for that panel. Because again, it's gonna be March. So that window is there is like they give us the first footage of the following year. Like last year, they gave us the footage for Sonic 3, but then Sonic 3 came out in
December.
So it's I
got it. That's what we should expect then.
Mm-hmm.
Was there another black movie?
Movies with black people in them?
No, we don't do that. Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson's got a new movie, doesn't he?
Samuel Jackson.
Never mind. That wouldn't have. No, never mind. Forget that because that was just announced. So they're nowhere near filming. They wouldn't have shown it.
No. The only thing was Sony again. The big thing they talked about was Spider-Verse because director Phil Lord, he passes when we're in line getting into the auditorium. Like, yo, like. That's the director of Spider-Verse. Like, dude, they're gonna drop Spider-Verse news. So all like the critics and TikTokers and all that stuff, we're like, oh, yo, like that's Phil Lord, And then Chris Miller, he was on Twitter. He posted the Spider-Man logo on Twitter. So like, yeah, and then they gave us Spider-Verse footage, even though they, this stuff is unfinished. They give us basically a little bit extended scene of what happens after Miles get escaped from the the Miles Morales from the other universe?
His clone,
him out of the alter ego, the Prowler version.
Mm-hmm.
So and most of it was just voiceover, basically from the last movie of what happened at the end and everything. So, but you're seeing just more footage of, I guess, that Miles Morales teaming up with the Prowler version of Miles Morales. So it's like he's not technically gonna be a villain, but just a probably
I didn't want them to tip their hand on that. I didn't know if he was going to try to corrupt the true Miles. I didn't know, like, I would like to go into it not knowing, but I mean, I guess largely until 2027, maybe they may change things. Maybe it'll end up being a different type of struggle. So did they give any indication as to when they were going to get started? I know that they haven't changed necessarily the date, but like when we gonna get.
No, so they just said that this will be the completion of Miles Morales' story. Now I have a plug. He needs to add another connotation to it. This is the completion of Miles' story, animated
in animation.
Because again, we can probably talk about this whether on in the back chat or whatever, but there's a reason why this movie is literally coming a month right after Secret Wars.
Right.
So make that what you will. Beyond the Spider-Verse, what does that mean?
From what you know, Jedi Mike, because there were rumors out there that they originally wanted to connect what was going on with Miguel to Kang and all that kind of stuff, and obviously what happened with Jonathan Majors. They had to So is that having something to do with all the rewrites and the pushback of this film?
I don't think it's a coincidence that, as I mentioned, they're still developing the Doomsday script as they're shooting. Again, it's not coincidence, but also with the Kang stuff that you mentioned. So. All right, I'll say this. I don't care. Yeah, whatever. I'll put my journalistic card out there. So it was during the Spider-Verse orchestra concert they had in LA. I think it was LA. Yes, it was LA. They had a moment for press, talking with, because Chris was there as well. The directors of Spider-Verse was there, and we were talking. It's like, saying, hey, you're developing the third one. But we know from the beyond across the Spider-Verse, when displaying how everything is connected, canon events and stuff, you use the same animation design the way that Loki did. And I was like, hey, well, was it because you were trying to connect it to this? I'm like, yes, because we're planning to go into live action with that. But that's and so
yes. He's like, no one's recording. I can say this, yes.
But this was conversations we had. With press when it was at the orchestra concert for the Spider-Verse soundtrack they were doing when they were going on tour and everything. But that's what they're doing now. I'm
surprised that they're playing ball with Marvel. I'm surprised Kevin Feige is getting along with Amy Pascal that well.
Now, or are they doing it away from Kevin Feige? Are they even involved?
This was before Loki season 2 when this happened, by the way. So
yeah, they had a full story planned. Yeah, at least from what we know from the leaks and stuff, they had a full story planned out.
Somebody at Sony is growing a set, and I like it because they could really just be in the driver's seat for Spider-Man and not have to do this. Hey, Kevin, tell us what to do with Tom. Hey, Kevin, tell us what to do with Miles in live act. Kevin got his own things he's worrying about. Let Kevin worry about his own business, and you drive your own car. You drive your ship. I like that.
It's not theirs, though. It is Marvel's. It's just a little paperwork and wording that happened from
Spider-Man.
1999 when they sold those rights that has got us in this. It is Marvel property. I understand the ownership and the way that
they own Spider-Man.
Are you gonna let me get back in on my take, the one that I had, the one I was running with?
I think that
I was talking about Spider-Man. I was talking about Miles Morales and them taking back their manhood and actually driving the car. I think that the surrounding characters around Spider-Man, if done right, with Peter Parker, if they could just break themselves away from being so dependent on the greater MCU narrative, they could make themselves a pretty good empire over there just off of Spider-Man properties alone.
Agreed.
Correct.
They're too dependent on, hey, plug us into your greater MCU narrative, which I'm learning more and more every day doesn't exist. It doesn't exist, y'all. They're painting by numbers. They're going as they go. The MCU narrative is dead. So stop trying to be so
repeat that. Repeat that.
The MCU narrative is dead. So stop trying to hitch yourself to that train and do your own thing.
No, well, that
go
is
your
the
own way.
Their version of doing our own thing was Madam Web Morbius.
Thank you. I was just gonna say, did they not try that? And was it not like an abysmal disaster?
But hold on, though. They did all of that without a focal point. They did all that while continuously lending Tom over to the MCU, and that's the only time we see him, right? If they bring Tom,
but they answered those questions.
Him there.
But remember, when they were doing the press for Morbius, and they were doing that weird Twitter Q&A, they got asked about Spider-Man in this universe, and he was like, "Ho ho ho, that's going to be revealed soon. Just know we have a Spider-Man for you guys in this universe." That was Sony that said that. So Sony had whatever weird makeshift crafted universe they had behind the scenes. They had one together. It just failed.
There was, hold on now, but wasn't there the same around that same time? They were also talking about Raimi maybe being the guy for Secret Wars, and then Spider-Man 4 being who was Raimi Spider-Man? Toby, right? Maybe being a mashup between Toby and Tom Holland. Maybe being a Spider-Man 4 for Sam Raimi, but also Spider-Man 4 for Tom.
Well, I think we're having like different conversation on pieces of news, and then kind of combining it to this point. The point he's making about
Marcus does that, bro. Just set him straight.
No. It's okay. No, it's okay. No, I'm just saying that with the Sony Sony proper Spider-Man films, right, are different above Avi Arad on those. Phil Lord and Chris Miller are the sole creative foundation for the Miles Morales Spider-Verse thing. But a lot of people think that there are two, even though it's still Sony, that those two things are two sides of like, oh yeah, it's the same thing. The same people that made the Madam Web movie, the same people that made the Spider-Verse. No. And they know, Amy Pascal knows this for a fact. Because the point about going out trying to give this to Kevin Feige wants Miles Morales Spider-Verse in this involved with Secret Wars and multiverse and everything like that. Because they know that out of all the multiversal stuff they have, Marvel, like in Marvel proper, talking about all Marvel, right? What is the most popular multiversal IP? It's the Spider-Verse. Not the Loki Sacred Timeline, Disney Plus, Marvel's Monica Rambeau in X-Men universe. No. It is the Spider-Verse is the most popular multiversal IP here. And if you connect that to all this and you're doing in your conclusion of this multiversal saga to the general movie going audience that from been following it, is like, oh yeah, this is a win. You did it, Marvel. And they'll give the props to Kevin Feige instead of saying, no.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse, Chris.
Yeah. Sony.
This was Sony that did this.
Look, quiet as it's kept, even as it stands. No Way Home, Homecoming. What's the new one that they're coming out with? The
Brand New Day.
All the Miles Morales movie, those are all Sony projects. Now we all understand that to a certain degree it was handheld. Some of that was handheld with Kevin Feige, but if those are successes, shining successes, even going forward, and Marvel MCU is trending the way it's trending, when do we stop tilting? Oh, well, that's just Kevin Feige hand-holding. Like, yeah, sure, Sony got their own stinkers that they're dealing with. The Cravens, unfortunately, even though I rooted for that movie. The Madam Webs and, the things that they try to do on the Venoms. God, Jesus. They got their own problems. But at the end of the day, that's the same studio that is making those Spider-Man films. And if you're telling me that Kevin Feige is the reason why those Spider-Man films look like that, then why the hell can't we get that with anything he's doing? Like him on his own, like from start to finish, like Mike, like Jedi Mike said, not just acquiring stuff. When he gets a chance to go start to finish from his own conception, what does it look like? Just him, not him going and giving opinions, but his thing. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Start to finish. Thunderbolts is a Kevin Feige product from conception all the way through an evolution. Because who do we got? Red Guardian, that was the Black Widow thing. We got Yelena was also Black Widow. Taskmaster was Black Widow. We got
Israeli Black Widow.
Israeli Black Widow. You got who else you got? You got John Walker. That was Falcon and Winter Soldier. You got Ghost. That was Ant-Man. Right? So everything that he's had his fingers in, all those little characters that nobody gave a shit about, bringing them back for basically a Dark Avengers team. I don't know why we didn't call this Dark Avengers.
Okay,
but
that's what it is. That's what it is.
A de facto Dark Avengers team. we'll see how it goes, but that is him. Whatever happens to this, the asterisks, right? Of course, whatever happens to these characters, well, I mean, excuse me, whatever happens to this IP, that'll be a result of his years of planning to get us to this point with Thunderbolts.
Yeah, so I made this point about, again, going post MCU. Why? Because we're saying why you can't get this with Kevin. Because again, a lot of, one saying cooks in the kitchen, but more importantly, getting out of his own way of understanding. Hey, listen, like, you have had a running marathon, and now here you have to a point where you're going through withdrawals of the success that you laid. Right. And it happens. I mean, listen, no one has been doing consecutively great for over 20 years in any profession. Over
James
20
Cameron.
years. He has had breaks. Not Kevin Feige is working an assembly line. James Cameron is working in pieces of like, okay, I'm doing this project. And it's not coming immediately after the following year.
Christopher Nolan.
Again, not an assembly line. He is an artist. Like, hey, I'm gonna have 2 years to make this movie, and y'all gonna wait because I know y'all gonna be at the theater because LeBron.
20 years
again. Lost. Hey, listen. Hey, you want to switch this? You want to switch this argument there? We can go there.
We don't have time for that.
We don't have time there. I'm saying on movies here, damn it. But I'm just saying this. In this after Secret Wars, right? Marvel, again, and whether he want to admit it or not, is afraid of the X-Men. Because I'm telling you what's going to happen. They're afraid of the X-Men because this is what happened. They have other IP they have going on here. Oh, we got the Captain Americas. We got the Thunderbolts. We got, the Marvels and all this stuff, right? Well, guess what? After you release X-Men, if it's not X-Men or Spider-Man, I don't care. That's literally what the audience is going to be. Because that's what the one thing that once you give it to us, that's all I don't care. I don't care if you do freaking Captain Marvel 3. I don't care. What about this X-Men project you got going on? Oh, I don't care. You do another.
That's only because they've been so underwhelming with everything that they've been able to provide us in between Endgame and when they eventually will give us the new X-Men. First of all, give me your opinion on this, Jedi Mike. Do you think the X-Men going forward are going to be a new iteration of X-Men, a new combination, or is going to be some hodgepodge of some new X-Men, but also some pieces that we wanted to keep from the Fox universe? We can't get rid of Hugh Jackman. We can't get rid of, Kelsey Grammer Beast for some reason. Like, is it going to be a mashup, or are they just going to overhaul it and reboot?
No. After Secret Wars, this entire thing's getting rebooted. They already announced they have a writer in development of an X-Men film who was writing the Hunger Games film. I think I forgot which one, but he was a writer on one of the Hunger Games films. He's already developing a script for an X-Men film in the MCU. I 100% believe that after Secret Wars, this is their last hurrah. James Marsden, last hurrah. Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, everybody. Alan Cumming, even though again he's 60 years old as Nightcrawler. No, this. No, this is the last.
Why
hurrah.
the connection to Hugh Jackman then?
Why the connection of Hugh Jackman? What do you mean?
Why are they continuing to go forward with Hugh Jackman? Are you asking Mike like he would know the answer to this? It's because
no. I think this is just my opinion on for this. I believe again when they brought back Hugh Jackman for this again, Secret Wars. This is the last hurrah of the MCU, and honestly, I would not be surprised that after Secret Wars that Kevin Feige will be talking about departing from Marvel.
No, Hugh Jackman transcends any iteration of Wolverine.
No. Are you saying Hugh Jackman parts or Kevin Feige is
Kevin
going to
Feige departs from Marvel after Secret Wars?
Don't do that to me.
I think there's a conference. I think it'll be open conversation. Do I think he'll do it? No, because he's still trying to get a consistent X-Men everything after Secret Wars. I'm just saying. I think that after Secret Wars, there will be a conversation like, I've been doing this for over 20 years now. Maybe I need. So that's right. you have done at least like 3 or 4 different big comic storylines in the film. What left you have?
So
what
I
happened?
clicked that by accident.
Oh man, okay, I'm sorry. I thought Kevin Feige like, nah, Nick, girl, we out. We got you. He's making too much. You told me. But no, I'm just saying the conversation that what I think he might be talking about retirement or anything, or maybe going to a different, IP, whatever, regarding Marvel afters. But with Hugh Jackman, again, this is their last hurrah. Tobey Maguire, again, I think that conversation I think he should come back for Secret Wars, or at least, or Andrew or something for Secret Wars.
Andrew, we know
they both will.
Yeah, thank you. Right. They are capitalizing all the dollars they've accumulated. It's like we're putting everybody in this mug, right? Wesley Snipes, I bet you he's coming back for Secret Wars. For what? Because again, they brought Channing Tatum back. It's like they're trying to bring everybody, all nostalgia feels and stuff. So I can give you one last hurrah before we get this clean slate. That is what the comic Secret Wars is, and I think for cinematically, this is also a love letter for Kevin Feige, who started as producer for 20th Century Fox with the X-Men films. He started with X-Men films, and he'll end with X-Men films. That's what I believe. But yeah,
that's. I mean, again, that lines up. That lines up. We've heard those rumors going on maybe 2 years now that the Fox X-Men were always going to be brought in because Kevin Feige wanted to give them their final hurrah. Here you go, and here's what you're going to get. That's where we got the X-Men announced, and everybody's talking about, Halle Berry's still in. I bet you Halle Berry's done talking. They just haven't announced Halle Berry yet. Yeah, they just haven't announced Halle yet.
My friend Jamie from Black Girl Nerds interview her for that, and she was the one that gave that, like, and I was like, I called her like, she's lying, right? Like, yes, she is lying. But yeah, it's like okay. No, she's in the movie. Or at least if not this, she's definitely in Secret Wars. But like, come on, girl, stop lying.
They massage
I met you last year.
Though? You know that they lied to her to get her come back for X3. Is it a pay bump? Does she get a role? Does she actually get something worth coming back for in Secret Wars and Doomsday, maybe?
But that was a Brett Ratner situation.
Do you think she'll differentiate? Do you think that she'll this is different? This is a different Marvel. This is a different X-Men. Because I mean, they're bringing her back into the same.
I don't want to play the agenda here of diversity, but let's just keep it real. You announce that you bring back the original X-Men, and yet you did not announce the 3 main women out of the X-Men that everybody wants. Facts. You didn't mention Rogue. Facts. You didn't mention Jean Grey. You didn't mention Storm. And you mean
guys
tell me
know why? Because they're trying to generate interest from a group of people who seeing women on the casting would disappoint.
I wasn't going that route. I thought you were going somewhere else. But
it felt good to be on the same page with you. Yeah.
But what route were you going with?
Well, I was just going the building the interest part. I mean, hey, we announced these guys, and you already know he got on stage and said, okay, we're going to be announcing more. This is not everybody. So if you are a fan of the original X-Men and you seeing names not on there like Halle Berry, Famke, and the rest of them, you're going to be like, okay, where are they at? Oh, he's going to announce more, so they've got to be on the second half. I mean, people aren't stupid. They know what, is coming and whatever, but yeah, that's literally what's going to sell Doomsday and sell Secret Wars is going to be the nostalgia, the idea that any character that you've ever watched in any iteration of Marvel could possibly pop up in any of these films.
To Storm showing up, just like Miles Morales showing up, so what? There's 2 hours and a half of screen time on this movie, and I'm supposed to be excited. Miles will be there for a little bit of it, or Storm will be in it for a little bit. I don't care if they have to lie to her or whatever. She knows, Halle Berry knows, the Storm role is going to be very small in this. It's just really just for the sake of completion of, that was that superhero from them.
I'm sorry, did you say you don't care if they lie to Halle Berry?
Well,
listen, I'm glad he said that though, because I wanted to kind of gentlemen, I wanted to kind of piggyback off what Marcus said there earlier when he asked, what I think every X-Men person that is in the original that we've seen, I think when we do see them on screen, I think they are going to have a scenes equivalent to what we saw in Days of Future Past's opening. I think they're really going to give them, like, I think we're going to see Halle Berry not, what happens when electricity touches I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's actually going to be, I don't think she's going to dig into, sands of time, heed my command, but I think she's definitely going to get her due.
Give them the forecast.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Give me some of that. Have to say the line. He has to say the line.
Yeah. That would be dope. That would be dope.
Forecast.
I'm saying that too. That will happen, yes. And it's not the majority of the movie. This is still the Robert Downey Jr. led film with all the other, Benedict Cumberbatch, Chris Hemsworth movie.
That doesn't mean it can't come at a significant spot. That doesn't mean it can't mean something to the overall, further into the plot.
Yes.
Like I said, remember we have. What is it? I think, again, I know I said this before, 7 minutes is all that Chris Evans, I believe, is on screen in Endgame. And look how impactful that role is on that film.
Yeah. Also, Wolverine, the Wolverine from Deadpool Wolverine, that version, his X-Men died, right? So, and I think it will just make sense if that's going to be the same version of Wolverine we'll see in Secret Wars or Doomsday, whatever, when Hugh Jackman is announced, and how it would be cool to say, hey, he's reunited with maybe not his X-Men, but the ones that that remind him of his X-Men, and they lost their Wolverine or something. It just it just because it added just another emotional weight.
Jedi Mike, are you in the leaking community? Do you pay attention to the leaks and stuff too?
Yeah, I mean, I listen. Oh, okay. Hey, I got it on thread. I got notifications on. But hey, I'm just listen. I don't be writing your scripts. They don't pay me. If they do, they give me some residuals because man, I'm making this better than you are. Come on, like.
I mean, I would ride with it. I would get down. That's what they trying to do for. Well, never mind. We trying not to give people too much. Try not to dig too deep. But that's what they're trying to do in other places. Just kind of erroneously mix and match.
Mm-hmm.
Getting very convoluted with some of that stuff. So we'll see how it works out, I guess.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers had more screen time in Endgame than he did in Infinity War. You might have had those movies flip-flopped.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I just looked that up too. I had to check myself.
7 minutes in Endgame. Gotcha.
30 minutes in Endgame.
And 7 minutes in Infinity War. Yeah, it's because they had to bounce around a lot. When you go back and watch that movie, man, it was fairly choppy. It wasn't the smoothest film to watch. I think we were just so hype about all the faces.
Yeah, right. I mean, so it wasn't like we all knew that going into that film, which even though we'll say that Infinity War was the better movie, it was the pacing of if you were going along the ride. Some of us when I debate it, but like is they're going on the ride to the pay off that ending of the the snap and everything, and then wiping out half the universe to a point where it's like, yo, we went through an emotional ride in 2.5, almost 3 hours with this, and then with Russo's where they thrive is that they thrive on an ensemble cast. Even though on paper we think that, hey, this is like, yo, how are you going to manage this? If any directors are going to be doing it, is these two guys to actually balance, hey, how are we going to give this X-Men time? How are we going to give, some of these Avengers? Hey, Anthony Mackie, who's leading the Avengers? We brought Anthony Mackie to the MCU. If his own movie can't make him the leader, let's actually give him due. We owe him that. Come on. Come on, man.
I mean, see, my whole thing with the Russos is that you're putting a lot on them. You're putting on a lot on them, and it's not just the expectations for their film that they have to fight. Now it's this onslaught of underwhelming apathy. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't get that out. Underwhelming apathy. It's just a mountain of nothingness that they've been building from some of these products, and at some point, it's that bill's got to come due. At some point, the results just kind of are what there are. People are not flocking to the box office or flocking even to their TVs to watch Marvel anymore. And so if we're expecting that to just do a complete 180 because of the Russos, that's kind of my worry. I would like to see a little bit more momentum, heading into their project, because that's what they survived on, right? They had a much better, much more popular cast at the time that they were expected to juggle.
That's true.
There weren't so many characters to rehab. Like, yeah, it was easier to do the ensemble thing when they didn't have to make She-Hulk look good. When they didn't have to put Sam in a more favorable light. They were already dealing with Chris Evans. They were dealing with gold. They were in a much better position. So if we just keep putting it on, the Russos got it. Hey, y'all, the Russos been struggling in their damn self. This is a comeback for them.
Yes. This is a comeback in general. And listen, there's a lot of things they have to juggle in this movie. Because listen, we post Endgame, we have no Avengers team. You have no Avengers team. We just got a new Black Panther. We just got a new Captain America. Whether we accept it or not, whatever, that's not the point. It just, the audience, hey, this is the first time we've seen this Black Panther with the Avengers, okay? 2, or actually 4. You have the Fantastic Four and Namor in the same freaking movie, right? That's a whole deal in itself. Like, wait, what? And then you're bringing back the original X-Men. Oh, why they brought Rebecca Romijn as Mystique, I don't know. But like, yeah, they bring
and not Jennifer Lawrence. Like, yeah, why not J-Lo?
Right? Bring them back, right? And on top of that, well, you bring Loki, which you have all of his emotional journey on a Disney Plus show. So you're betting on people. Hey, did you watch Loki season 1 or season 2? Hey, if you didn't, I'm sorry, you're gonna miss this part. Like, and then we are establishing, returning the godfather of this entire universe of MCU and putting him in a new role when you have been immortalized and being imprinted that this guy is Iron Man. And yet we have to solidify this guy is Dr. Doom in one movie.
And
come on.
Yeah. What if you just had to break the lore that everyone loves so much and exalts as the greatest thing that ever happened to them to get there?
Anything else from Cinemacon that we would be interested in hearing about?
Cinemacon. Okay. Well, man, again, Sony. I think the biggest presentation they had. Well, they had the best presentation, in my opinion, announcing that they're making a Beatles movie and then they're making 4 movies releasing on the same month in the same year. That's interesting because they say they want to create a bingeable cinematic experience. And I was talking to.
Are the movies going to be cheaper?
Something. Well, we don't know, but I'm just saying that having that concept of bringing people back into the theaters, that would just be interesting to see how, if that succeeds, how that would translate to other properties, in a theatrical setting, like whether it might be comic books, anime, whatever, like what that would be if this concept of having a bingeable experience in the theaters with the Beatles wins. And I'm just saying, I want to have new ideas that hopefully that will encourage people to go back into the theaters, but at the same time, movies and what the stories you're telling matter. So hopefully, children, that'll basically hopefully will succeed. That maybe we get an entire franchise off of that, and see how that goes. Because again, it just the formula of filmmaking and how you bring these films in a theatrical setting. Again, the dollar is what matters more than anything else. Again, we're in a new age of post, pandemic and streaming, and anything that we can bring people back into the seats, but also release windows, which they mentioned. Release windows of movies being longer in the theater than they are, and instead of releasing them on demand or on streaming, beyond 45 days. Right, that was a big thing that they were emphasizing that because they say that is killing box office. But at the same time, that's
They
what
did
you
it.
guys
But
you created, right?
They did it.
Right.
Yeah, you the one made all the streaming services. Oh, we want all our particular specific content streaming directly to our customers and paying monthly.
45 days is
subscriptions. That was your
abysmal. Why are we
thing.
championing 45? Talk to me when it says 105. Like
Well,
45 days is still
was the
nothing.
standard, I think, at one point in time, and then they started skirting that. You know, the streaming era kind of blew through that.
Yeah, but I think I was happy to hear that they were saying that, even though I'm like, yeah, y'all created it though. But aside from that, Tron was good. Tron was cool. They had a light show and everything in there and everything. But that's in terms of regarding us, people of color, that's pretty much it.
You say people of color, like in your regular everyday people of color is a word?
No, I'm saying the professional term they'll say on stage,
For sure.
whatever.
Yeah.
No. I have another word, but also, again, the YouTube algorithm, they want to demonetize people's platforms, and I'm not trying to do that for this.
And don't let Raven Simone hear you say African American.
What's that again?
Raven Simone. She had a comment on
African
American.
Yeah. No, that's just trauma talking. But anyway, but yes. Aside from that, I think the only thing that gave us more black content was MGM Studios with Amazon. And it was their first time ever having a panel on Cinemacon and stuff. So, other than that, that was pretty much it. I wish, they had more, but other than that, the stuff they just said was just in development. So we just gotta wait till next year, see how it goes.
Is that your screen name there? Jedi Mike 7?
Yes, Jedi Mike 7. That's my screen name on YouTube, Instagram. Brought to you by Solo Media. That's my outlet and everything. And I got more videos and stuff coming up. I'll be covering the a bunch of stuff that's coming out later this year. I have articles written out. All my links, everything's in the YouTube description and stuff. So you can follow me at Jedi Mike 7 on YouTube.
So appreciate you, boss.
Appreciate it.
What's next?
Sorry, I put his link.
They did show Avatar footage though. Of the new Navi. They did.
What happened there? We get to Avatar.
I totally forgot about that. Someone said in the comments. Of the Fire Navi. They get, so we're watching it with 3D Dolby Cinema glasses. So they're showing us footage with that. Jane Cameron, he wasn't there, but he just said a video. But Zoe Saldana, presented it and everything. But the Fire Navi seems like they're gonna be teaming up with what's the dude?
Jake Sully.
Not Jake Sully. No, the human that turned to the team. Yeah, he's not
the reverse white native.
the reverse white native, right? He's teaming up. He's teaming up and everything, and with the Fire Navi, and basically the different. They also have an air clan,
the air tribe, the
air tribe and everything.
Avatar. Yeah.
And they basically to the Fire Navi. They're like at the end of in the movie. You know how they said it was their god Eowa, whatever Eo connects all things, right? And then basically says your god has no place here. That's that line. That was cold.
Damn.
Your god has no place here.
Fire Navi live? They live in a volcano or something?
There was volcanoes. That's what
I thought. Okay. I was like, where else they gonna live to get fire? They gotta live in a volcano.
Yeah. But other than that was pretty much it though. But so
bet. Definitely excited for Avatar.
Sick.
Appreciate you bringing the news to us, bro, for sure.
For sure. Thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't get these insiders come too easily, so we definitely appreciate it.
No, absolutely. Anytime. Again, you guys know where to find me and all that stuff, and more than happy. Again, I've been watching all of you guys, even just on this channel, but separately on you guys' stream and everything. So love the conversation. But we gotta keep it real.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Chad appreciates you too.
Appreciate it. All right, I gotta go. My wife is calling me. I'll touch base with you guys and stuff. But just keep me posted, okay?
Okay.
All right, man.
All right, peace, y'all.
We long time ago got a super chat. Let's do it. What do you say, Jedi Mike leaving? I'm going to go back to Black.
Can we stay in? Can we stay in this form, or do we? Yeah, let's. I like this.
You prefer that than this? So my beef is like it's got so much dead space that like, what's the point? You want to show off your background, I guess.
No, I just like that view more, not because of the background. You can still see.
All right, you gotta do Thunderdome. 2 go in, 1 leaves out.
I don't care. Yeah, Darius wins. We keep it this way.
Nope, Thunderdome. Someone must die.
I guess I'm dead because I don't know what the Thunderdome is.
That's crazy.
I don't know either.
Giving up on Thunder.
Is that for Mad Max?
2 men enter, 1 man leaves. Very simple instructions. Thunderdome. It's like nobody says that. Ain't nobody ever said that to y'all.
So it's not even a movie. It's just like a saying people say.
No, yeah, it's like a. People say, "Oh yeah, it's like a fight to the death." Do Thunderdome. At least that's how I know it. I don't know if there was like an actual movie or not. It's my cultural reference to it. My bad. Must need to be an Ohio thing.
Yeah. Cultural regional differences. We have a super chat. Super chat.
Yeah, look.
It's from Puma Lee, who drops 2 and he says, Sony can't succeed without Spider-Man or Miles. Without doing it, Puma Lee made a point. Miles Morales is not Spider-Man. Peter Parker is. Other than that, is he correct? Sony, they gave us some other popular movies. They gave us One of Them Days. They've given us...
I think he's meaning Sony within the Marvel
Sony?
Marvel
Then he
space.
Then I agree with you. Yeah, they're. What are they doing without that? They tried Venom. They got lesser and less money each time. 3-way agreement there. No Thunderdome.
What happened?
So somebody donated monies for you to read what they said.
Okay, cool.
I completely agree. Sony cannot within the Marvel space. No, they cannot. But I'd argue that can they succeed with Spider-Man? They've had him how long, and they've yet to succeed.
I think it's because they've done it with
outside
Spider-Man
of the Miles stuff.
Focus. Yeah, he's been focused on a MCU narrative. They've never they didn't tie any of those characters back to Spider-Man. It was the most mystifying thing. They could have and chose not to do it. Not any one of the Spider-Mans that they could have chose to do it. So yeah, if you're going to do the stupidest option possible, then you deserve to lose money. But like, you obviously have a very popular character. Maybe sprinkle some of that onto the people that you're trying to bring up. Sprinkle that on a Venom. Sprinkle that on you probably should have never made Madam Web, but sprinkle that on a Craven, sprinkle that on a Morbius. Try to make something of it. That's the whole point.
I agree. Sony has succeeded with Spider-Man, except TASM and 3. It's just the villain films that sucked booty for it. Yeah. Let's go over to the DC world, everybody. Supergirl has some photos that were leaked. I don't think too much into it. They are leaked photo. They're not presented for judgment. Or they're, secretly someone took a photo of it, but it was planned for it to leak just to generate interest. There's always that. You know how they like to promote on their social medias? We don't know. From the photos that I've seen and from Supergirl's outfit, she's got a skirt on. Whoop-de-doo. Not much to say for me, but maybe, Darius, this is your realm. You're more of the leak guy. Like, I've seen you cover photos of Fantastic Four leaks and other leaks. Is there something to extrapolate that I'm missing?
I think it's just the comic accuracy of the costume, which we kind of figured when the picture of her reading the comic on a trailer, or wherever she was, got put out. I think people, with behind the scenes photos, just especially with that stuff, when it comes to comic book films, it's just what are we getting? Is it accuracy here? Is it blah, 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 blah? So from the conversations I saw around the photo, that's what people were talking about. Just how she is in her comic accurate, because there's nothing else to really go off of in that picture other than that.
Oh yeah, we got.
Where is the picture?
We got 2 super chats. Somebody got what I was saying. Maybe that is a movie by Tina Turner's character. Was this from Mad Max? Am I like remembering things? It's kind of like seeping
and you
into my
told me
brain.
no, it wasn't. You said that with your chest, and you're telling me it was a Mad Max reference.
Well, I didn't say it wasn't. I said I didn't know. But maybe that's where I heard it from.
Nah, no, you said
It's
it
got to
wasn't.
be where I heard it from.
You said chill. Get up on your cultural references. Chill. That's what you said. It's crazy when you said it too.
I don't recall, but we do have 2 super chats whenever you want to get.
I'll get to the super chats. They can wait. Puma Lee waited.
Crazy.
We're Supergirl topic mode, and we agreed. Didn't we agree? Isn't that one of the show formats? We're in the middle of a topic. We don't just jump over. If you pay attention,
You be hopping in and out of topics to read super chats all the time.
Not lately.
Sorry, Roberta. Whenever Chill's ready.
Darius, am I imagining this? Didn't we say like that's how we were gonna run things? Maybe it was just me and you there. We had the important members.
It's not on me. It's just on the devoted viewer who sent you $5 to read her comment.
Where was this energy for Puma Lee, who waited like 20 minutes?
I didn't even know it was there. You don't want to be reading super chat. When you seen it was there, you pulled it up. Puma Lee.
Hey, Supergirl canceled for super chat time.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And
Roberta. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Yeah.
Fighting in the Thunderdome as recited by Tina Turner's character.
There you go.
What movie was Tina Turner in? Figure this out. Yep. Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
There you go.
1985.
Yeah.
We weren't born yet.
85? No, yeah. 8 years before I was born. So yeah, definitely before my time. But it stuck for some reason or another. Probably heard it. My dad was playing it or something like that.
Respect. Thanks, Roberta. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Definitely. Thank you for checking the pop culture reference there.
And we got another super chat. $10.
Money big, Uncle Phil, Twin Gloss, Helen Lil, niggas hate, Uncle Tom, spin them off me, carousel, get them off me, go to hell.
RW Shy Town, $10. Serious question. If the old rumor was true about Denzel Washington playing a variant Magneto, how would you guys feel about him being the main villain as T'Challa, not Junior? That being the introduction of Storm. The main villain versus T'Challa.
But what would be the connection to Storm there? Why would Storm be a connection in that?
He's a mutant, and he can control vibranium with his magnetic power. So I can see why Magneto would be a villain towards T'Challa.
Well, no, I'm talking the Storm thing. Why would Storm be the linchpin with Magneto?
They're both Omega level. They can write a story to make it make sense. We can ask how, and they'll explain why and how.
They'll explain it now. Well, I mean, the obvious parts of what I hate about it are there. I guess you already know that. Denzel as Magneto to me has always been a little bit tricky, right? Because while I feel like it's a compelling take, you'd have to rework it a bit, and it would take a lot of care, man. It would take a lot of care and a responsible writer. Because now you're replacing the story of Eric Lyncher in the Holocaust with some other comparative, atrocity that would happen for a black man, and so now the dynamics shift a little bit.
The Holocaust did affect black people.
I'm sorry, what?
That group of people that were villainous, they did not fondly view people.
Hey, chill. I think there was an obvious target to the Holocaust, and that's enough to say that, there was probably that was their thing, and the story materially changes if Magneto is a black man. You can't just say that he's a Holocaust survivor. That's not that would be terrible. That just wouldn't be.
My sister on Oprah said it the best. What she say? theirs was filmed. Ours was not. So no,
like
I don't
you
think
know
that
we have
can
we
compare
have
ours to
we
them.
have genocides that we could that could, you know,
One
we
of
could
them
bring lights
include.
to.
You're right. Yeah.
No. Genocide specifically against a population of black people.
Right. Those exist. You're right.
Right. So that is what we would be comparing. Why are we arguing over this? This is not something to hold up over. Magneto is a white man, right, from Europe. Denzel Washington is very obviously not a white man from Europe. So he does not match up with Eric Lyncher's story. He doesn't come from where Eric Lyncher comes from.
He doesn't match Eric's story. Yes.
Doesn't match Eric's story. So you would have to change it to fit what Denzel would represent. That was the point of that. Not to talk about how many black people died during the Holocaust. But
yeah, I concur. I have always not wanted the whole. To me, there are certain characters that I think you can get away with a race swap, even though I'm not a fan of race swapping like that. I feel like you can just make a new character, but whatever. Different. Magneto is one of those characters I do not feel that you can race swap. I feel like his background story is too integral to who the character is. And yeah, you could say, well, we could change it and make it whatever. But I'm not a fan of Magneto's backstory being changed. So I've never been a fan of the Denzel rumors. As far as like that being a story for, bringing in Storm and things like that, why not? Stranger things have happened in the MCU.
Appreciate that, 10. Not really, though, because you're a little cheapskate. If you had money, you'd be donating the way Lawrence did.
Cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash in, cash out, cash out, cash out, cash out, cash out, cash out.
We got 20 spots from Lawrence.
He didn't mean that, Chi-Town.
Definitely didn't mean that, Chi-Town. I didn't.
Yeah, he might have meant that, but thank you, Chi-Town.
Nah, bro. Puma Lee step it up. Roberto, everyone super chatting. If you're not going to drop 20, don't drop anything. Chillmonger appreciates Lawrence. What, you guys don't appreciate
Planet Fanatics is not saying that. That might have been a Chillmonger channel thing, but Planet Fanatics is thanking you for the 2 cents that you donate. Every little thing helps. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Lawrence. I bet Lawrence also watched the ad before the video came on. That's how supportive he was today. Happy Thursday. By Odin's Fade, happy Thursday. The Mjolnir summon Thursday. I don't know, I'm trying to add to it. I don't want you to just drop $20. We play it for 1 second and it goes away. But I can't really add much to it. Appreciate the appreciation, Lawrence. Marcus.
Thank you so much for that.
What's
up? What do you want to touch on next, bro? It's your call. Where are we going?
The Minecraft nonsense.
Nonsense? The phenomenon?
Has anybody seen the Minecraft movie in the chat? Who's seen Minecraft so far, chat? Let me know if you've seen it. No, it's absolute nonsense. Could you imagine, Darius? Could you in Norman, right? Okay, so they got the NWA movie going on, right? And so it's just a viral thing to get up and start twerking in the NWA movie. We're gonna start throwing popcorn everywhere. We're gonna start dancing in front of the screens. Now, how quickly do we get the paddy wagon outside of the movie theater in Norman, Oklahoma, if it's a crowd full of black people doing that?
Oh, in Norman? Probably the first sign of an ass bounce.
But about as fast as they show up here in Columbus. I just find there's a lot of stuff going on in public spaces that people found deplorable just 4 years ago. Oh my God, they're protesting. They're blocking my freeway. Their signs on my way to work is annoying me. Oh, look at all the destruction in public businesses that they're doing to these companies. Now they children out here wilding, going viral, throwing shit, jumping on top of each other's shoulders at a Minecraft movie, and it's just wholesome fun. It's wholesome fun.
It's not vilified the way it should be, or at least consistently.
I'm just saying. Now, as far as the movie goes, I don't. My son wants to see it, so I can't say that I don't.
Not on opening. No, give it a week. That crowd, you don't want him exposed to it.
Yeah,
I don't want to take. Sorry, Marcus. You can father however you want to father. That was just my suggestion.
No, honestly, I don't want him to be in one of these shit there's people doing are just trying to get on the internet. Like I don't want him to be part of that. He wants to go to see the movie, and I definitely don't want him doing any of that shit while he's in there. So this will probably be a digital watch for us at some point. I'm interested to hear some opinions on it though, from people who have seen it.
The producer is encouraging it. That's not what I want to hear. I want to hear about how the producer just wanted to advertise it, and he was going, "Listen, we did a great job. We targeted on TikTok to that audience who grew up on Minecraft. So definitely it went to the right place. We're happy with the successful like tickets search purchases. I want that to be their answer. Not keep going, guys. Go a second time. Hey, make sure you get the largest bucket of popcorn just so you can throw it everywhere. Like I don't want that energy. It's stupid, and it'll probably cost him the way that other studios on his future jobs will look at him, whoever this producer is. That's stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of annoys me, man. I just feel like anytime we congregate and we have fun together, it's like, oh, niggas, what the mid-mords doing over there? What are they doing? Congregating, making loud noises, being joyful, enjoying themselves. It just amazes me the free birth that others get in this country, man. To do
our country too.
Just
when
about
Vancouver,
they want. Yeah,
when Vancouver lost the Stanley Cup, they were like going crazy, flipping cars, fires, and stupid things on the streets, and it was not seen the way that it wasn't consistently seen. We'll say.
Yep.
Let's not compare protesting and throwing popcorn and soda everywhere. LMFAO.
Oh no! I got to the protesting because see now thank you, Skeet. I appreciate it. Thanks for making me re-clarify my statement.
Yeah.
I started out by saying the people who are standing on the road and blocking our way and protesting in the streets. See, 4 or 5 years ago, that was us, and now it's farmers who are having their industry torn apart. It's small business owners who are being ravished by tariffs. It's everybody who's looking at the plummeting economy and their dwindling 401ks. It's all of those folks. It's the federal workers who are getting laid off. Now that the demographic has changed, Skeet,
what are you pointing at?
It's okay to stand out in the streets and protest. Now it's okay to protest corporations and stop their bottom dollar. You know what I'm saying? We don't say, oh, the poor corporations. We report it for what it is. We reporting 13-week losses from Target's foot traffic all of a sudden because it's white folks who are involved in the protest. Right? Everything's okay. Civil disobedience is perfect as long as you are, just lacking a bit. But thanks for making me get on that soapbox. I wasn't planning on preaching tonight.
I want to give them points for what they were able to do. And it feels like the video game curse is over because Sonic does really well. Mario does well. And what's the other one? This one, Minecraft movie. Detective Pikachu worked fine. The Halo TV show is deemed good on Paramount Plus. And Last of Us just got its 3rd season. Video game stuff seems to be okay, and I want to say like video games make more money than Hollywood does. Like the industry of video gaming, of course, the games that cost 8 times the price of a movie ticket.
Yeah,
well, maybe 10 times now with the Nintendo increasing the prices on the Switch. But
yeah, you don't have to buy a console to watch movies either. Just the television will suffice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. So just my overall point was just movies have now like discovered this new avenue. There are franchises in video games. So if Assassin's Creed can get it right, let's do it. That's like 10 movies right there. I'm happy for what we dipped our toes into. And Minecraft of all movies was the one to do it. There are Easter eggs filled with this movie that people who enjoy Minecraft and play it, they know exactly you got to build, you got to use that, you got to use that. Like it's actually fun and interactive. It's Easter egg heavy. Same way Mario was. Remember Mario when we watched that and we're like, oh, I know that song. Hey, that sound is from there. This character does this. It was filled, right? It's that Diddy Kong. I hope they see Diddy Kong. Yeah, it was Diddy Kong. It was great. We heard the DK rap. It was all awesome.
So here's what's keeping me from fully hopping on the video games
here.
are the new frontier of Hollywood, right? Because I feel like even though Nintendo's having a real resurgence right now with their movies, and we'll see what happens with the Zelda movie that's coming out. I feel like we've had larger properties, video game properties, that have gone completely in the mud with higher budgets.
Yeah, in the past,
right? And this may be a new day.
The Rock had Doom.
Right, yeah. Doom, Resident Evil. I mean, the list goes on and on. But let's get them to have a main property live action, not Minecraft. I honestly believe this Minecraft craze is just viral moment type stuff. I don't think people are actually going because it's a great movie. Give me something in live action, like, can they make a Grand Theft Auto movie and make it good?
Of course they could. That's
could
possible.
They make a Gran Turismo movie and make it good? Could they make an Elder Ring movie and make it good? Something like that. Like Warhammer is probably going to be a good example of how different stuff, non like studio comic book stuff is going to be. I think that'll be a good barometer of how people's appetite
God of War
is for God of War.
It's not a movie,
right?
but
it's a TV show, right? Because you know what is a recent example of what I'm talking about? Halo, right? Halo. If video games and large video game IPs were going to be the next frontier, I would expect to see Halo, and I do think they'll try again, but I would expect it to see that one get a little bit more push. That there aren't too many video game franchises that outsize Halo, and so for it to get that type of reception, really that much attention, it was not a very talked about show, and the people who were talking about it were very split. I kind of liked it, but I'm also not a Halo fan, so I wasn't too tied to any of the inaccuracies, right? I wasn't too critical on it. I want to see them take a large IP and do something with it and see what the actual viability is, because this could all just be viralness. It doesn't necessarily have to be a market trend.
Sure. If change is inevitable, the only thing that remains is how people respond to it, since they can't stop it or anything. Why are you trying to sound profound, Stamina MC? God.
He's having a conversation. That's not.
Sorry. All right. Video game movies and everything concluded. Next, let's talk about studios. Fandom studios. I was listening to Den of Nerds, who, funny enough, the Warhammer guy. I was listening to him talk about this, and he was kind of right. He was exploring fandom. And I want to add something to that conversation. So if you heard it, I won't repeat what he was saying, but I want to add, it's competitive right now. Combative. I, the fan, they, the studio. It feels like with Lucasfilm, with DC, because you see James Gunn like shoot people down and stuff. It feels like every time we've got a news story, it's like a negative one. It's about being angry. Even last week when we were mad at Star Wars, John Boyega, we weren't mad. We were mad at the people who were mad. But that's what gets clicks. Oh, they're calling all the fans racists. That's the sort of like level, that stage that we're at. Movies, studios, they got like 3 movies a year if you look at Marvel, and they got like a TV show. So out of the 365 days annually, there's 3 days that they'll have a trailer, maybe a teaser and a full trailer. So that's 6 days. And then there's those 3 movies themselves. So for 9 days out of the 365, they control the narrative. They have those days. They don't have much else. Maybe a convention too, so that we're at 10 days. But after that, they really don't command us to like have something to talk about, have something to be interactive with, have something to like to be fans and sit with. And they need to think about that. DC did Fandom, and that's one, I'm still saying it's 1 day. But if you could split Fandom apart and make it Fandom week and give a day of attention, of maybe it's leaked scenes that are leaking or bloopers or deleted scenes, or just have like a week called the DC week, and they can show us things that have to do with Superman that aren't going to be in the movie, but at least it makes us interested in the movie, and it gives us content to cover that is not related to the movie, that is related but it's not actually of the movie. They'd be better off. Fandom is the closest we got to them seeming like they cared about the interactive experience. Marvel could do the same thing. They do have Disney Plus where they could do, I don't know, a sit down. They could do a Kevin Feige live stream. They can do something to make us think you don't hate us. Because it feels like every time I cover Marvel and you guys will cover Marvel, it's always something that they did wrong. Damn, Silver Surfer is going to be a woman now? This is terrible. Like, and we talk about it. What if they said, let's control the Silver Surfer narrative? And, well, if they actually casted a male, right? And they went, we're going to show you how we do Silver Surfer. And it's the inside scoop on Norrin Rad being painted silver. And you know who the actor is? And at the ending of that 5-minute video, 10-minute video, he takes off the helmet and he goes, it's me. And we go, oh, wow, it's that guy. That could dominate the press for one whole day. And it would only take, 10 minutes of footage to do. You cut it up. What Ryan Coogler just did right now with Sinners, it's kind of cool. And the franchise films who have the huge audience bases, the Us's of the world, and there's bigger communities on YouTube right now who would be like all over this and people would flock to. And New Rockstars would have to do the Easter egg video hunt. They're not utilizing us right. They think doing stuff like the Wolverine, it matches the cover. They think like, yo, we killed it today, bro. We dominated the news cycle. Instead, everyone's going 8 hours and that's all they did. Like they're blowing it. They're what they're trying to get good results out of, they're ruining. Even the chair thing, everyone was mad at that. They were trying to emphasize watch time instead of emphasizing like what they're giving us, like within the watch
like
time.
We was watching to try to find, we was hoping we were going to see more. That's why people was watching.
We wanted to be rewarded for all the time we spend on you, but instead you were taking our time for granted. Those who watched, taking our time for granted. I'm trying to just say F the studios, and I'm trying to say they need to change because we're willing to cover them on a weekly basis. I can't wait. Every Thursday, Darius will say topics in the group chat, and I'll be like, oh, what do we got? What do we got? And I'm searching. What if Marvel, did something, which they did this week, of course, the Wolverine thing they did for 8 hours. But if they did something which was awesome, then I wouldn't have had to have called Jedi Mike to come do the Cinemacon report. And we could have filled our time with current stuff that is of this week.
That's kind of my point to what you were saying initially, is that, you want to say something positive, but at the same time, it's not incumbent of you to be positive for the sake of being positive, right? Part of what we do is relay information to people and review content honestly, so that they can gauge reception, so that they can gauge whether or not they want to indulge in said content. It doesn't help anybody involved, doesn't help us, obviously. Definitely doesn't help the viewer or the consumer, and it doesn't really help you as a company to create a false. If I go out here and I tell people, oh man, Daredevil Born Again is absolutely great, 10 out of 10, and then they go watch it and it's a stinker, then not only do they not take my opinion for that show, but the next 5 or 6 Marvel shows that I talk about, they won't listen to me about. They will not take the free promotion that I'm giving for a studio and listen to it in kind and believe it, because I told them Daredevil Born Again was awesome, 10 out of 10, and it was a stinker. The next 10 times I talk about Marvel products, they will scroll past me and go on to somebody that they can believe. So it doesn't help me, doesn't help them. It sure as hell ain't gonna help you for me to sit up here and fake the funky and say that it is something that it's not. If you're not giving us things to enjoy, I can't talk about my enjoyment. If you're not giving me the things that I want, I can't talk about how Marvel serves the fans. It's just impossible to do. And so you kind of end up in this wrestling match where, you are kind of aiding the demise from a certain perspective, because one of the things that helped Marvel grow to this point is that they were kind of, it was the first studio to me where you had people kind of driving the marketing train without you putting dollars in it. They weren't contributing any money to the amount of buzz they were building in between phases 2 and 3. And it was all this. It was this. It was channels like us, bigger than us, smaller than us,
Collider,
talking about theories, leaks, drops, concepts.
We're willing to do it. we went heavy with it on WandaVision, which
On
ended up
him.
not having that much to talk about. But our
Mhm.
speculation was hella fun, and we
And
did it
it
at
was-
3 a.m.
And that
That
had
is-
their brand recognition through the roof. Most of the Disney Plus shows that you've seen over the last 2 years came off the strength of what kind of confidence WandaVision really bought them. That's really what it is. They got the
Yeah.
green light to create what they've created over the last 2 years because of the popularity that WandaVision bought them.
The popularity that already existed, and it was our first ever TV show, which would mean every 7 days now we had some, stuff to go off of, which was new at the time. Now it's not. Every
Yeah, I think
7
that-
days, yeah.
It set that level of expectation to where, okay, well, yeah, we'll greenlight all these if that's what we're going to get. If we're going to get this type of energy from him, absolutely, we'll move everything to Disney Plus and make it exclusive and have the sliding scale prices and all that other stuff. Yeah, absolutely, it's worth
We're
it.
not there anymore. Lockdowns are over. People are outside, and it's the quality is dipped too. Many people have unsubbed. It's just a different time now.
Faith is lost. What you guys were saying is what I say all the time when we talk about this, and that is the example of WandaVision, the example of Loki. The conversation is just not there. We are not up at 2 and 3 a.m. theorizing with strangers that we met seconds ago in a thread about WandaVision. We're not having these in-depth conversations about these shows. Anytime people are having conversations about these shows, is what you just said. It's why is Marvel still not so good? Why is this? Why is that? Why, people keep wanting to bring on Chapek. Chapek's gone, and this is the last of the Chapek era. I understand that Chapek and this is all that's gone, but what I'm seeing,
scrap the Chapek
Right.
era. They didn't even see that. Yeah.
But what I'm seeing with my own eyes is still not great. And I'm not going to sit here I've never have on my channel, and I'm not going to do it on Pantheon either. I'm going to sit and, sugarcoat things or tell you that it's great when it's not. I, for one, am not enjoying Daredevil. I, for one, have kind of I don't know if it's not really so much of a giving up, because it's like whatever, but it's just like oh, okay. That is where I'm at with Marvel. It's just like, oh, okay. Like Thunderbolts, oh, okay. Fantastic Four, oh, okay. This, I don't have anything to share about Daredevil, because it's just like, well, I mean, when you've been drugged for however long we've been getting drugged with Marvel, and we keep saying, oh, the cracks are showing, it's going to get better, they're doing this, it's a new director, oh, okay.
I
Any
think
solution?
whether or not you, well, yeah, I got a solution. Let them die. No, I think more so than whether or not you like Daredevil or not, right? Because it's mixed. I think the fact that it is split to the degree that it is kind of tells you everything you need to know about the Marvel brand. And if they can't convince people to come back and see a title that they know, this is not some, like you said, Darius, this is not some down the pipeline MCU stuff. This is not a leftover Chapek project that just didn't get canceled, right? This is something that was reworked and has been successful on another platform.
And he acquired it.
Yes. Yeah, you acquired it. You went and you bought it, and you're doing your version of it, and it's almost not even registering. That's the amount of people who are watching. I'm not going to give any specific plot reviews or anything like that, because I don't do that type of thing anymore.
You don't even have to do that. It's just the conversation. There's no one talking.
No one talking about it. Yeah, there's no one talking about it.
So give us something to talk about. Well, the episodes should be something to talk about. I don't know. I can't help with that one. They just make the episodes good, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And it's not that the episodes aren't. It's God. It's man. And I'm not going to go too deep and convoluted with it, but it's not that the episodes aren't good, because there are things that I like in it. That, the dialogue, the dialogue in it has been great. It's just not. I think the biggest thing for me is the relevancy of it. is okay. We're doing all this with Daredevil, but then I'm gonna jump over to the Thunder. Like, what am I? I don't even know what the Thunder. Obviously, the Thunderbolts is, I guess, gonna have some type of tie to Doomsday with them being announced. So then I'm jumping over the Thunderbolts and doing all that with that. Then I'm jumping over. I thought this is all supposed to be the multiversal saga. We're not doing multiversal shit. I'm literally chasing a villain. Don't want to spoil anything. Anyway, yeah. So. It's just inconsequential to me. It's like, what are we doing with what? What are we doing?
Yes. They should have named the show Matt Murdock Born Again, because I've seen. I'm just saying, if it's called
review embargo. He said,
yeah, I'm trying to stay diligent. I'm just saying, if it's called Daredevil, you should probably see Daredevil. That's it. That's all. That's my thoughts.
We got some supers to talk about. Michael Nemo. Unfortunately, studios will lump intelligent, well-meaning fans without a platform with racist conservative bros with a platform. When they say Recast T'Challa is just like the Snyder cult and all of those Snyder bros, that stuff. Lucasfilm does it a lot. That's what you're reporting, Michael Nemo. Yeah, I've seen it and I noticed it happening. All criticism is deemed as the evil type. What do we do? How do we solve that? Like, how do we change that? We can't. We're not in there. It's gonna need someone at leadership to go, bro. Why are all these live streams that talk crap about us doing well? Why, how do we control the internet? How do we make them happy? And I don't want them to just say, well, that's the nature of the internet. It's negative on purpose. It's not working, bro. Do something for us. Make me feel special 3 times a year, okay? Televised Comic-Con. Like, involve me. Thank you, Michael, for $5.
Thank you, Michael, for that. On this, I don't want to discourage anyone either. I'm not telling anybody don't watch it. If you're liking it, fan fucking tastic. That's great. They're hitting you. That's fun. And again, I'm still watching it. How many episodes are we in? I'm still watching it. So I'm just not hitting home for me like that. But to what Raymond said, yeah, that's true. But this far in, how many projects are we into the multiversal saga now? And how many times have we been throughout the multiverse? I think I can
Loki and Daredevil, Deadpool and Wolverine. Multiverse.
No. I'm talking like, man. I'm talking like really in the multiverse. The way we kind of spent a little bit of time in 838. All that type of shit.
Time we did it.
Well then, there's my point.
You got Loki.
At the ending when Photon jumps into that universe where there's X-Men. You got that.
You got it's been a few total time.
Yeah, total time. That's that question.
Total time, you probably got about 90 minutes in the multiverse.
Yeah, we have alternate Spider-Mans join Tom.
Yeah, they came here.
In the multiversal saga. So anyway, that's just my point. That's just where I am in that. So
Darius, maybe the problem was that they told us what the name of the saga was, which gave us expectations. Don't tell us what the name of the next saga is. Just happen to do it. And then you can name it with a stupid little animation. The same way that we didn't even know we were in the Infinity Saga until they told us that when it was over. They just had a little, that's called the Infinity Saga. Next one is called Multiverse Saga. Like, don't name it. In the back room, we have a man who is a primary color. Not red and not yellow, but blue. You want to be tagged in? What's up?
I just want to get 10 minutes, man. Y'all forgetting
10?
Yeah, just 10 minutes, man. I'm gonna be in and out. I can talk, but what y'all forgetting is Feige did not build the MCU, and we keep putting our faith in Feige. Feige didn't build MCU. Started off with Favreau, right? Started off with him. Josh Whedon wrote the blueprint for what we deem as what the MCU is. That got as soon as he left, it went downhill. I don't think people noticed that. It went downhill after Josh Whedon left. He wrote all of that. The Avengers, the Infinity Stones. He was the
architect,
the orbiter, whatever you want to call it. He was that. They don't have that anymore. They got Feige. Feige is a fraud. He's a fraud. And the sooner we acknowledge that and put that out into the cosmos, into the universe, Feige ain't finna write this shit. He don't care to write this shit. When Jedi Mike said Feige could be leaving, remember we heard that Feige wanted to leave. Remember he wanted to go do Star Wars or something like that?
He did want to do Star Wars.
Yeah, I think that wasn't no rumor. He really wanted to get up out of there because he know that he is scared of the X-Men, because if they bring the X-Men in and it don't work, there is no more Marvel. That is it. They done.
Yeah, they can always reboot. They're not done. They can just reboot start from scratch.
No,
but not from the same size though. I think if you fail at this, the next people who take up Marvel as a venture are either going to be smaller than Disney or are going to contribute less than what Disney is currently contributing, because it'll be a diminishing value.
Yeah. It's done. Like, they will have no more to pull from.
I'm gonna sit back and let y'all rap. I don't think my opinions are wanted right now, so I'm gonna just let y'all talk.
No. If you got some, look.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, why you stepping away?
I guess.
Look, the thing is, Marvel. Who said? I think Marcus said that they are like a conveyor belt. They just pushing out product, right? None
of us said that.
Somebody said it. Did somebody say
I said it's paint by numbers. It's very assembly line. I said
it was Jedi Mike Blue. Somebody Jedi Mike said it.
Yeah. So when you pushing out this product, you're not giving a chance for us to even eat. You know what I'm saying? We just take a bite on to the next, Stories aren't working. Nothing is connecting. It's just convoluted. You got 2 movies left to get to Doomsday. Fantastic. You know, I haven't listened to the rumors and nothing. I'm pretty sure y'all been, into the leaks and stuff. But if Fantastic Four don't connect to Avengers, if Thunderbolts don't connect to Avengers, what the hell are we doing?
That's how I think of it. But others think of it as, oh, good, you don't have to do homework. I don't want to do homework. I love homework.
That's so fucking dumb. That is so damn dumb. Because the MCU has never been that. The MCU has never been, oh, whoa, I don't have to do homework. So that's so damn dumb. I hate when people say that.
And you have to do homework. I'm watching Robert Downey Jr. show up as another guy. What do you mean I don't have to do homework?
But so everyone already watched Endgame, so they can do that for that movie. Everyone knows he's established. We know you didn't see every movie. You didn't see the Marvels, but you saw Iron Man. You saw all that. So it's implied, right? You get what I mean?
Implied what?
Just when that Iron Man is, doable of furthering the story, and they'll trust that you've seen his past performance.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the story is with the, like I said, I haven't read the leaks or whatever. If the story is involving actually Tony Stark being Doom, maybe, I guess. But even then, if the last movie I watched was Endgame, and then I come into this movie right here, and I see Tony Stark as Doom, for one thing, I don't know who the hell Doom is, and why is Tony Stark being Doom?
So Fantastic Four should have took care of that, or a movie before should have took care of that. You're saying
it should. Hopefully it does, right? That's what I'm saying. But you still not giving me enough runway. Is this plane gonna take off with 2 movies? Is that enough runway?
I haven't seen it yet. Maybe.
I think Thunderbolts is probably going to be the better narrative story out of the movies. I think it's. I was watching some stuff the other day. It looks like it's going to be great as far as how it's shot and stuff like that. But is that story going to be enough? And then is Fantastic Four going to be enough to launch Doomsday?
Without going into any of the stuff, they claim that, and again, do with this what you will. We'll see how everything turns out. They claim that Doomsday is going to be it's going to tell Doom's story. So you have a big to do in Doomsday. You have all the other factors, the varying factors, as far as like who the Avengers are, who's this, who's that. Then on top of that, you're going to have an entire film that is going to explain to the general audience, and obviously all of us, who Doom is in the MCU. And you're going to use that for one film as the origin, and then we're going into Secret Wars right after.
So it's an event. So Avengers Doomsday is going to be Doom's origin story. Then from there, we're going directly into Secret Wars.
Secret Wars.
From what they say.
Somebody get Josh Whedon on the line quick, please. Can we get a real creative?
Well, you can't bring him back. You can't bring him back.
No, you're right. You can't bring him back. I'm just saying. Can we get some? Can we get a real somebody really who wants to see something work in Marvel and to build some foundation and to architect something? You know what I'm saying? Genuine, because this is, come on, man.
Jon Favreau is the only guy I can think about who's there. He's about to leave Lucasfilm after this Mando Grogu film, and he'll have a free open slot. So if they can trade places, that'd be the best. I would like Kevin Feige on Star Wars more than KK, but everyone's better than her.
Kevin is not going to go over to Star Wars as long as KK has any intertanglings, background whispers, or any. As long as she is on the property, her voice is heard. I mean, he's never gonna do it. He's never
got
gonna
an office over there. He ain't going. Nowhere.
He said they got to take her badge. They got to take her badge.
Remove her name from any kind of paperwork and all of that. She got to be erased. But I mean, I'm seeing people in the chat saying Reginald Hunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, just get an actual creative over there who understands Marvel. Because I think Kevin Feige read comics. I don't think he's a comic book fan. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy who went from trying to sneak comics to the people on the X-Men set to pulling comics away from the Marvel movie. Like,
to calling the MCU 616 and having the little 18-year-old actress say no.
Can we get her? Can she come in and run things? You know what I'm saying? Can we get Miss Marvel to come in and run things? Seem like she got a better head on her shoulders for this than he does. No, am I in the wrong?
No, I'm with you. I'm very critical of Kevin Feige, especially after he killed T'Challa and thought that was the right thing to do.
It's been misstep after misstep, diminishing returns. I don't see, if I'm on the board, how I'm even. Well, I guess they've made money hand over fist, so he gets the benefit of the doubt 9 times out of 10. But it's just looking bad out there. And the runway is slim. I'm with Jedi Mike when he said that they scared of X-Men. Fantastic Four has to work. And
it
I'm with
absolutely has to.
It has to work.
That is where that's honestly this whole, like, yes, I think people are still going to go see Doomsday regardless of whatever. I think people are just going to go see that movie, but Fantastic Four has to work. Like, if it doesn't, but here's the thing. No, man, no one's watching Daredevil. No one went and saw Captain America Brave New World. I don't know what the push is to make people go see Thunderbolts. So if we're going off of just a track record here, a current resume, it's not looking good for the Fantastic Four. It's not looking hot. It's not looking like people are going to be showing up and watching the Fantastic Four. I said it the very first trailer. It was okay. But I said, if they don't wow with these Fantastic Four trailers, I don't know that the general audience is going to. Now, am I going to be seated day one? Yes, because I'm invested. I'm going to be seated day one. But I'm talking the overall people that are going to be putting the box office, building that. I don't know. It's not. I don't know.
The general audience still remembers Killmonger as Johnny Storm. So that's how the general, you know what I'm saying? Fantastic Four don't have a track record of being box office smashes.
And I thought Daredevil was going to, and it's so I don't know.
Can I get a prediction of the box office starting with Blue? What's Fantastic Four gonna do?
I could see 758. I could see that.
And Serious?
No, I take that back. I'm gonna go lower. I'm gonna go 657. That's what I'm gonna do. China might be out of the picture. I know y'all ain't moved on to the China situation yet. China might be out of the picture. That's another thing too. China, if they not allowing movies,
did they not double down? Was that not official from them? Did the United States president, he answered that. He said he does not think that.
Yeah,
he said he doesn't see that as a big deal. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure China's already made. Yeah, he said he doesn't see it as a big deal. So China, I'm pretty sure, is going to go ahead and do it.
But he don't like Hollywood anyways. Hollywood hates him, so he would love to see Hollywood burn. So if Hollywood never made a dime again, Donald Trump will be happy.
Hollywood is America's, the empire that you guys are all part of. It's how they control their perception, their view of the other people in the world will think more highly of you because of the way that Hollywood depicts you guys. Just the fact that most of the big movies take place in an American city, that's important for military usage, for just perception of America. So they want their movies in China and everywhere else.
I don't like.
It would hurt. I mean, China
America?
is the second largest.
Yeah, I do love America.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Did you compare America to the Empire, Roman Empire?
I'm American, chill. I don't know what you. We're not finna get into that, chill. Not today. Not
no.
Tonight.
I only got into it to get that answer. I got the answer. But Darius was talking. What were you saying?
Yeah.
I said no. China is the second largest when it comes to American film. So I mean,
I checked. Avengers Endgame made $600 million in China. Just like that exists out there, and of course, there's a smaller cut from that box office gross that the studios will get. That's still not something that you forget. You make these movies knowing, the Chinese box office exists, and we'll get some money there, and that kind of justifies that extra 20 million.
Close to 300. That's like close to 300 million that they're getting from a 600 million haul over there in China, though. That's like close to 300.
I don't think it's Captain America: Brave New World, right? So it just barely got over 400 million, but 150 million of that at least came from China.
Oh, really? Good for them. I'm surprised. Because Black Panther, they gave Black Panther only 100 million. So
and I would say, and that's just because, and that's a Black-led film. You change that over to some of these other films like Multiverse of Madness or what else did well in China?
I think 150 million from China with Brave New World came with the excitement of Harrison Ford and the Red Hulk. That's probably where that extra 50 came from. I'm gonna agree with. I'm thinking so. I mean, hell. They gave Black Panther 100. They gave this 150. Where's that extra 50? It's gotta be. It ain't the nigga. It's gotta be.
It's Harrison. It's Red Hulk. But no, I mean, I honestly believe if the Chinese-American tariff war continues, if China is serious about pulling all American films, and not relenting in that regard, that would spell the end for the MCU. They couldn't survive that. They absolutely could not. I'm very comfortable in saying that would kill at least.
I'm gonna say this: China's stubborn.
Studio in Marvel.
Yeah, China's stubborn, and they're not gonna budge. They don't need to.
No.
There was a point in time after Endgame, no movies went to China. So like the Black Widow, Eternals, that era. Nothing went to China until Quantumania, until that February of 2022, and they figured it out. So Shang-Chi didn't go to China, which
was that COVID related?
I don't know why. What was related to?
Was that COVID related? China was shut down, right?
I
think China shut down, right?
Shang-Chi didn't go to China for different reasons, political things within their culture,
like the magical imagery and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And Simu Liu had some things to say.
They don't do well with demons and stuff like that neither.
14 million.
Right.
Brave New World only got 14 million from China, not 150.
What?
I told you, Marcus just be shame, and we he says it with such confidence. We go, yeah, of course.
Okay. So then the next time that there's something like that, then pull it up.
I did. No, I did. But I
no,
felt
no,
like you were
consistently, not something a shot in the dark. Everything I say, fact check me.
I do fact check you sometimes.
No, you don't. You do not.
No, sometimes you tell the truth. Like you're very good.
No. Then it's either I do it or I don't. The next time I say something that you feel like is incorrect, since I just say
I didn't feel like it was incorrect. I felt it was so unbelievable. I wanted to see it for myself.
Next time, since
I'm with you. You have so much trust and faith in me that when you first said that it made 150 million, I was like, oh, okay, well, Micros doesn't lie. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And that's why I went to see the numbers later on because of how crazy it was.
I think we got other topics that we.
Since we're talking about fact checking, can we fact check this? Did No Way Home not go to China?
Yeah, it was before 2022.
No Way Home didn't go to China.
That was the first Spider-Man movie, right? No Way Home.
The last one.
No, the last one with
that was the last
Toby and Andrew.
Yeah, I can see that doing that without China.
Original release.
I can see that doing that.
Oh yes, it did not, because I remember the big deal was the numbers it pulled that was without China. I remember that. Yeah, but that's also Spider-Man.
It's Spider-Man,
and then you added Toby and Andrew, and then you had Willem Dafoe and
doing that. Yeah. People going to see it multiple times. Yeah, I can see that happening.
That was me. That was me. I saw it multiple times in theaters with different people. Yeah. Yes. No, not 16.
That was the Andrew Garfield effect. A lot of times. The Andrew Garfield effect. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know the three-way tie we have. Who's the best Spider-Man, Blue? Is it Toby, Andrew, or Tom? You can fuck around and say Miles. Watch it. I know this guy.
Andrew.
Andrew, eh?
Now I need the little button that I can press and it can cheer, because I mean, yeah. Who else is there?
Andrew got a raw deal, man. Got a raw deal.
He did. He's just the better one.
But that's my 10 minutes, man. I'm out, chill. Told you.
See, Blue, do you want to do Iyanu? Do you want to talk about that show tomorrow on a live stream?
Yeah, I thought I hit you up and told you I'm down for that.
I know, but I was pretending like this is the first time we're talking about it. Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Come on, man. If you're gonna produce a show, do better than that.
Well, what time you want to do that?
I'll let you know tomorrow. Because I gotta work, so I'll let you know tomorrow.
All right. Blue South, subscribe.
You like that show, huh? You really like that show?
Yes, but I also want to like that show, so I'm totally biased.
Don't force it. If look, man, it's that sets a bad precedent if you're forcing yourself to like something.
No, I want to like every Marvel movie. I want to like every Sony movie.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, don't force yourself if it, because that means you're gonna have a certain. Oh, I gotta try to make it sound good. Because if I like it, if I can get somebody else to like it with me, then I'm gonna like it. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Copy that.
I'm out, man. Appreciate y'all for having me on, man. My 10 minutes is up.
All right, Blue. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah. Fire Feige. Get him out of there, man. Let Darius take over. Or let what y'all could take over. I guarantee you, y'all will probably run that ship better. They got a rudderless ship right now. You know what I mean? Hey, answer Chill Town's super chats. He in the chat going crazy. Answer that man super chats, please.
We'll get to it. Super chat time.
Take a deep drink, the money goes into my piggy bank.
We got a $10 super coming all the way from where is it? Michael Nemo. When Marvel prints comics, they don't expect you to buy every title every week. When Marvel produces films and TV shows, they expect you to watch all of them. It's okay if you don't like a film or show. No, Michael. My problem is that they don't expect me to watch all of them. They do sell with, if you didn't watch whatever, don't worry about it. This is going to be fresh and it's going to be a new experience. And it's catered towards the people who are going to just jump in. We don't want you to have to watch 20 films. That's how they sell it. I've heard that. And I've heard Marvel comic book people say that also. This is a fresh start for the X-Men. It's none of the Krakoa stuff is going to matter. You don't need to have known all these years of comics. They actually both from what I've seen, Michael, sell their product that way when the strength of their product is the history of it that no other brand can do. All these new anime and manga that come popping up. Solo Leveling didn't exist 10 years ago. But damn, the way that it just took the world by storm without the advantage of having a fan base, that's crazy. We go, wow. Now imagine what they will do for the next few years to come. I don't see what Michael said I don't agree with. I'm probably not the host that this was directed to. Marcus, when Marvel prints comics, they don't expect you to buy every title. When Marvel produces films, they expect you to watch all of them. Do you agree with that?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't. At least maybe at a certain point in time it was that way. It's not like that anymore. The fact that we are reshooting Fantastic Four to create ties into a movie that we've been hyping up here since Robert Downey Jr. walked out from behind, at what was that, SDCC with the Doom mask. I mean, we've had plenty of time. We were well ahead of Fantastic Four's shooting, principal photography even. I think if that's what they're doing, they're telling you that they're kind of flying by the seat of their pants. There really is no true connectivity anymore. They're just trying to create it haphazardly. So I don't think they expect you to watch everything. I think they expect you to watch with the important stuff, the stuff that they want you to watch.
But hold on, Michael. Maybe Darius is feeling what you were putting down. Darius, what he says about they expect down, right? Yeah. Wow. We got more super chats. RW Chi-Town, $5. The worst thing about Daredevil are the pointless side characters. Chill, I'm not watching Iyanu since you want to play with my money. LeBron takes rights. I'm not a LeBron super fan. I'm not. I also don't let the man dominate my conversations and everything I have to do on stream. So, to your point, though, the worst thing about Daredevil are the pointless side characters. Supporting characters support. I agree. And I don't watch the show, but I agree with you. Right? Like, yeah, exactly. Well, they had White Tiger on there for like an episode, and I know he dies. They're probably going to make his daughter White Tiger.
One of the better ones. That wasn't even one of the unbearable ones that we don't want to see anymore. So,
I didn't mind the bank robbing episode. I like the Irish robber. It's a pretty fun episode.
How many episodes?
Inconsequential. I don't know. How many are they?
It's going to be 9.
They're 9 deep.
Well, they're in 8 right now. I think it's going to be 9 for the season.
Of the 8, how many did Darius like? Okay, like or love?
I really don't know. I don't want to make people mad. I really don't know. I know I fell asleep on 1. I didn't watch 1 because that double week I didn't watch the next episode. Or it might have been the one I fell asleep on. I don't know. I just know I'm not enjoying it.
Thanks, Chi-Town, for the super. Appreciate you, man. Even if you're not going to watch Iyanu, and you totally should. And if you don't watch Iyanu, watch me watch Iyanu because I got my reaction videos up on my channel. So you don't even got to sit through there. But you should, though. Give it watch time. Stream it on Max. It is an African superhero comic book being adapted to animation. And there's no race swaps or nothing. You should like it.
Oh, my bad.
Thank you, Liam. Appreciate you. Way to go. More super chats.
Bitch better have my money. Play down, call me on my blood. Pay me what you want me.
Zabumufu. Appreciate you, Zabumufu. We go to Puma Lee. You need real comic book writers to do movies. Joss Whedon is exactly that, isn't he? Brian Michael Bendis, comic book writer, was part of the committee early on in Marvel's studios, and they got rid of that. The inception of these characters was very accurate. Tales of Suspense was the Iron Man movie was Tales of Suspense. It was an adaptation of that comic book, and they brought him to life. The beginning of Captain America's story was adapted I'm going to say 70% of the movie was a comic book brought to life, and they didn't deviate too much. The way that the characters started were right, and we love those characters. There's a reason why there's 4 Thor movies, and there's a reason why there's all these Avengers movies and stuff, and we see Iron Man over and over. They got it right in the beginning. When Kevin Feige is the solo cook, things go sour. Shout out to comic book writers, bro. Lord and Miller, aren't they comic writers? Chris Yost, I know, is a comic writer, and he killed it with Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the cartoon. Yeah, comic book writers, period. Thank you, Puma Lee. All right, man. Darius, what?
Oh, no, I could be wrong, but I think they are consulting with Hickman. Hickman's involved in some type of way. I could be wrong, but I thought I remember somebody saying something with him being involved in Secret Wars.
Got it. More super chats. Let's go to LeBron.
You end up being so tired. I make my money, man, without the coca. Living the vida without the loca.
Our Dove Chi-Town. Andrew dropped that girl like a summer bag of ice.
Oh.
Who am I?
That Andrew. I get it. We're going to get off Andrew at some point.
Thank you. Moving forward with our stream. We touched on China, Minecraft. We touched on Supergirl. We did Sinners. We did it all. I already touched it on my channel. You did not. On Monday, Marcus, I'm Shane. Ryan Coogler, he was on the Breakfast Club, and Ryan Coogler was asked a question by Charlemagne. Charlemagne, that guy writes comics for Marvel. If you go on the Marvel Unlimited app, you can read about him throwing a New Year's bash for all the Avengers and Avengers Tower. He wrote that comic book. He knows his stuff. He's got a Wolverine tattoo. He's previously spoken about recasting T'Challa, and I'm talking 2020 when Chad died. He on the radio was talking about, of course they're going to recast. Like, what are they going to do? Is not recast? Like, he talked about it that way before they even announced it. He seems to be someone in the know, because the way that he talked to Ryan Coogler in that question was, yeah, that's the way he said it. He said it as if he has heard Ryan Coogler explain in the past that Chadwick Boseman is attached to T'Challa. So he asked him this question, and Ryan Coogler laughed. I'll find the footage of it to show it to you guys. But I have not heard from you, Marcus. You got to let me know how you feel about this laughter for the second time in a row, because Shannon Sharp asked also, and he laughed.
You gonna play it first, or you want me to start commenting on?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. Wasn't ready.
Not get enough credit. I really don't.
If you don't set the right tone, right? If you wanted to come in through the back door, you don't want to do the carpet.
Here it is.
That's why Denzel was crying. You know what I'm saying? When he watched the movie, like, it was because of that. And for me, I think so. You know how many articles they would have? It's not. It's
real. That's why it's almost impossible for you to even think about recasting a T'Challa.
Yeah,
right?
no,
it's not. I mean, it's.
Well, with the multiverse, it makes it a little.
I mean, we talk about that next time.
Yeah. Well, can I ask one more question about Sinners? And
that was
about Mike.
So, first of all, I do think this is part of a trend, right? And while we find opportunities to remind ourselves how small our movement is and how steep of a hill we have to climb, how arduous our trek is with trying to get the character recast, we have to be fair in that when we see something that has been at least a change, a shift in how it's been addressed and how it's been answered, got to acknowledge it, right?
Good point.
We have not seen mainstream figures get in Ryan Coogler's face about T'Challa, be it playful or otherwise. When they was doing Wakanda Forever, it was a lot of deference being paid, a lot of somberness. Oh my God, we're grieving. Everything's so beautiful. Everything y'all say is gold. We're not even going to press.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're back out here. We may be joking, but I'm telling you, it may be inadvertently or unwittingly on Shannon Sharp's side, but with my words, I'm telling you where the focus is.
Right.
It's loud enough that it's crept up to Shannon Sharp's level. He's telling you. He ain't said nothing about that character that you created. He's talking about who everybody came to the dance for. Same thing over on the Breakfast Club. I may be giving it to you in a very deferential way. Yeah, no, it must be impossible for you to even think about recasting T'Challa, right? Like, I'm going to give it to you in the softest way possible. I'm going to give it to you in the easiest way that you can consume it so that you don't have to get uncomfortable at all. You can even walk away from it the way he basically did.
Yep, he was uncomfortable.
However, I'm going to give it to you the way that people want to hear it. I'm not asking you about, well, who's the next Black Panther?
Nope.
I'm not asking you about a T'Chanda or a T'Chaka or a Bashenga. I'm asking you about T'Challa. Okay?
And I'm not talking about the kid.
We're not talking about the kid. People want to hear about T'Challa. And so even when he's starting to respond here, I didn't get a response where he was getting ready to say, no, we can't do that. How I took it is he was getting ready to say it's not that, and he was getting ready to elaborate maybe on some of his feelings that he had about recasting and how it was hard with it being tied to Chadwick.
Can I play it again just from the top?
Go ahead. That's why it's almost impossible for you to even think about recasting a T'Challa.
Yeah,
right?
no,
it's not. I mean, it's.
But with the multiverse, it makes it a little.
I mean, we talk about that next time. Yeah.
It feels like
it's not
that I'm not trying to say I can't. It's not that. It's not. And he's stopping himself from saying that either because he don't want to walk completely back from what he said. Obviously, he's not laying down his guns, right? We also don't know where he's at in the creative process. So he's not trying to give up anything,
of course,
that he would be, that he has going forward.
It's not giving up to say who the lead of the movie is, but sure, yeah, we're very far from it. So okay.
I don't want people. Look, man, we have an unrealistic ask, right? We're asking for we have an unrealistic ask. We're asking for.
No, I heard. Yeah. Well, how is this unrealistic?
Because we're asking for a studio to change their mind. We're asking.
Oh, yeah, that's unrealistic. Not gonna happen. Nah.
Yeah, we're asking
Sonic
for them to say that they were wrong. Yeah, Sonic did it. Paramount did it, right? But we're asking for a studio to admit that they were wrong and to do what we asked them. So we have an unrealistic ask. And when that's the case, you need to be prepared for constant disappointment. You have to be prepared for that.
He apologized, or Kevin Feige said something wrong. How the Tibetan ancient one, and they changed it to Celtic. That was a mistake. I think he actually said, "No, this is wrong." Like, so it happened once.
No, it happens, and you should keep that in mind, right? When you sign up for this. But what you are signed up for is to be constantly disappointed, right? Sure. These people, we are not going to get good news on Recast T'Challa until we get the news. Understand that.
E-Man got to sit down with Coogler that he's going to drop on his channel, and E-Man said he asked those questions. This has potential to be the greatest news in Recast T'Challa history. And it's about T'Challa and not Toussaint, right?
We shall see. We shall see. And if Cougar goes into that interview and says, "No, it's not that I can't recast T'Challa. It's just that at the time it was this, that, and the third." Yeah, that's great news for us. But until we get it, everything this man says or doesn't say is going to feel like a rebuke. It's going to feel like, well, here we go again. It's another, we can't get what we want. You got to steel yourself. You got to steel yourself. You got to get used to hearing no until they say yes. We can't be hung up on every last interview. We can't be hung up on every last word, because they're not going to pivot and say, hey, it may be T'Challa. Hey, you never know. You might get T'Challa back. They're not going to do that.
And they're not going to confirm. If they say the word T'Challa, they're not going to confirm they're talking about T'Challa.
Exactly.
They're nicknaming Toussaint T'Challa.
And well, even if that's the case, I'm just saying that we aren't going to get the news we want in drip, 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 drip. We're not going to get it in pieces. They're going to continue to stand on what they've had until they're not, until it's something different. You shouldn't expect to hear on the Breakfast Club that they're recasting T'Challa. That's all I'm saying.
Where should you expect to hear it then? Comic-Con? What do you mean?
Yeah, something bigger like that, or just seeing it straight up in a movie to be a big reveal. But I don't think that if you were hoping to hear Ryan Coogler say, you know what, Charlemagne, I've seen the error in my ways. Wakanda Forever was not what we should have done with that character, and we plan on recasting T'Challa, the son of T'Chaka, the one from this 616 universe. That's
Marcus,
just, it's unrealistic.
He literally said that, but just didn't use those words to say it. He said it when he left.
Impossible for you to even think about recasting a T'Challa.
Yeah, no.
All Charlemagne said was recast, and he was already busted out laughing. We'll do it again.
That's why it's almost impossible for you to even think about recasting a T'Challa.
Yeah, no.
He didn't even need to say T'Challa, because who else could we be talking about? Recast.
Well, so,
recast got him so hot and bothered and out of his element,
right?
And then like, oh, I'm gonna start laughing about it. Like, he knows this is an uncomfortable thing, and he knows that he's in that minority. I think.
Let's say you want to take it that way, right? And you want to say that he's acknowledging that he's making it wrong, right?
I'm overreading. I'm overreading the laughter. Yes, but
you're okay. Let's say we're overanalyzing, right? Ryan Coogler doesn't have social media, or at least he doesn't have anything that I can track him on.
I'm convinced he watches my videos now.
Don't have IG.
Nah, he saw the video. He saw the one where
this man knows that Recast T'Challa exists, is what the laugh would suggest, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
If he knows at all that Recast T'Challa exists, then that in itself is the acknowledgement, right? That's what we're at. But if that's all you're getting, that's as far away from a confirmation of Recast T'Challa as we will not be recasting T'Challa because of the iteration that
His portrayal of T'Challa, the Black Panther, is iconic.
Got it, yeah.
Any iteration of the character in any other medium from Marvel's past. And it's for that
reason that we will not recast the character.
There you go. That. They're at equal distance away from each other in terms of getting the character recast. So sit in there, dig your feet in, be in it for the long haul, because until we get that storied announcement, or we see that plot leak, or we see that reveal at SDCC or at
E-Man's interview next week,
E-Man's interview or whatever, until you get the viral moment that is the recast of T'Challa, wait on it. I don't know what else to say.
I know
until you hear it, it's not a thing.
I know it's very out there and very outlandish, but I think they saw E-Man leading this movement, and they're using him to drop information. I'm not even setting myself up for disappointment for that E-Man interview.
Yeah, sure.
I want to say something, but you know how the internet is, right? Like, so I'm not going to say anything at all.
I will say this.
Basically that, Cornelius. Yeah, like, you're not breaking news on someone's YouTube channel of that significant proportion.
Yeah,
And,
yeah. I mean, I don't believe
and
that.
there's no YouTube channel that they would do that on.
Here is what I will say, is that along the lines of people talking about Ryan Coogler's interview with the Breakfast Club or whatever, I saw E-Man pop in on a few people's comments in relation to, commenters asking, hey, yo, you got any information on this? Or what you got on this? What are you talking about?
That was his tweet.
I wasn't going to say no specifics. I wasn't going to call the man out for, tweet watching or hopping in comments, but, or piggybacking on tweets or anything like that. I was just going to let him play in the comments because, sometimes that's what people want to do. But I did see him on Darius's tweet, and he did kind of smirk towards an assertion that he had more information on it. I am not saying that I think this man's about to reveal a recast. I would just pay attention. I guess just watch and see what comes of it, I guess.
I don't think you watched my video on Monday because I kind of said exactly what you said.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. Did you see my video on Monday? Thanks for watching, bro. Appreciate the support.
Just watch and see what happens.
I'm in every Back of the Bus live stream and supporting it, and I couldn't even see 15 minutes of me. God.
My bad, buddy. My bad, bro. I didn't see the video. I apologize.
We're even, right? Over the China box office thing.
What happened?
Remember? Never mind. We're good. We're good. Yo, Darius, we dominated this recast conversation, bro. Planet Fanatics, we haven't seen you stream since 7 days ago. So we never heard your take on this outside of your tweet. Talk to us, bro. Kevin Feige and Ryan Coogler, they say they laugh at recast now. Like, this is something. It's happening, isn't it?
No, that's my tweet is what I thought on this subject. I mean, oh my gosh, I can tell you want some good news? I can tell you, and this is not planned at all. I don't even know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but as I've said, and I've also told my source this, anytime I'm given any type of T'Challa news that's good, I'm going to push it out. Do I believe this? Only time will tell. I don't know. But you want some good news.
We want some good news. Your source
this conversation took place today. Now, I don't expect this to go anywhere because this is not like a Jeff Snyder's, but it's pretty big, I think. But again, time will tell. Conversation happened today. We were talking about several different topics within Marvel, to where we were kind of going back and forth because I was just kind of saying like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. He's telling me trust the process, this and that. To where we got to Eyes of Wakanda, to where he told me that Eyes of Wakanda is something that is necessary, is what he has been told, to where he added, it opens the door to help usher in a recast. I replied with what I said. Then he says, hold on, let me make sure I can say that. And no, that comes from sources within that want T'Challa recasted as well. And then he said that blah, 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 that part.
Pause.
And then the
sources with, sorry to interrupt, but like sources within who wants T'Challa recast indicate
sources within Marvel.
That means that Kevin doesn't want it. The sources within, not the main guy.
And he's saying sources within Marvel. These are where he's getting his sources from, are sources within Marvel that are people that are wanting him recast as well. But the final thing that he said to me was, because I said what I said, and he said, "Well, LOL, I understand, but it is happening. It's just some things I just can't say right now." In specifics, we talked a little bit more to where we got to specifics, and the specifics were Comic-Con, to where I said, you heard that they are going to say something about recasting T'Challa at Comic-Con, because I wanted to verify that this, what we're talking about.
Yo, Darius is so, because we were doing this, me and Marcus and Blue were talking about it.
SDCC like 3 or 4 times. So which Comic-Con?
He's like, I'm gonna wait for my turn.
He says this Comic-Con, and then he says, yes, big possibility if the trades don't get to it first.
Oh.
There's your good news. That's all I've got.
And it's before Eyes of Wakanda. Eyes of Wakanda is August. Comic-Con is in July.
Look,
I went from
y'all
boycotting Eyes.
Y'all heard what I just said. I don't believe in the drip. So if it's going to happen, it's going to be something big, like Darius just said. It's going to be a con.
Yeah, it'd be a con. And if that is the news that they do decide to drop, if that's true, and it does get dropped at this Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, whoa! Like I told them, that will be huge. That is the news. That's the news that trumps any news. That's the only news when you talk about something getting up there with the RDJ. That's the only news that you can drop from Marvel that is even comparable, if not even, I think, I'm sorry, even bigger of a topic than RDJ. And that's not me being biased.
It absolutely does. And not just because of the character, but because of the controversy around it. Right? Like they would have to... The amount of pageantry they would have to add to that announcement, they would have to involve his family. They would have to involve his widow. They would have to involve all of the cast and crew. Ryan Coogler would have to be somewhere in the forefront, right? Everybody basically that they used as a shield for criticism for not recasting would now have to be involved at the forefront to, again, shield them from the criticism that would be reverberated back. Well, wait, I thought it was his iteration was greater than anybody else's iteration. I thought that Chadwick Boseman transcended. I thought that we retired his character to honor him. They would need to then use all of those people that they were using to garner the sympathy to defend themselves from that type of criticism. Well, Ryan Coogler's on board with it. Well, his widow's here. His surviving parents are here. His brother is down with it. We were all in agreement all along that this really needed to happen. And we'll just kind of forget about all of that stuff about transcending and, honoring and blah, 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 blah. Might be big.
With the sculpt of his head.
Yep.
Boseman at the what is it? Is it Howard? Sorry, what'd you say?
It's called a bust.
The bust. Thank you for fact checking me. See, appreciate it when I'm wrong and someone can correct it. In Anderson, South Carolina, I guess. It wasn't at Howard. It was at Anderson, South Carolina. That's Derek. It looks like, and that's his mom and dad. Cool. Tina, She Dreads Me, posted this on her accounts. You mentioned the parents. I thought I should throw that. Can I go to Darius and ask Darius the parts that you redacted and that you didn't tell us? Tell us why you didn't tell us. Like, is there anything more you can tell me?
Because that's really it with the T'Challa stuff. The other stuff there is other characters and things and people that are supposed to be involved with stuff that I really can't say. We were talking about X-Men stuff, and then we got on because I started saying like, "Oh, that's cool." How I feel, I don't, it's cool, but I'm just like, whatever with Marvel right now. And then he's talking about, I know you feel that way because of T'Challa. And that's how we got on T'Challa.
And then he tried to go. You go.
I was gonna say, is this something that you're going to be able to talk about more later?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think it'll be out there before
you get to it.
Yeah.
When you hear it, will you be like, this is the one I was talking. This is what I was talking about. Okay, cool.
Your source, your source.
I was just gonna say that's all grain of salt type of thing. I don't know if this is, that would be great if they do announce this at Comic-Con. That'd be great. That would definitely change the tide for me and my feelings. But grain of salt though.
Does he say it's T'Challa, or could it be Diet T'Challa, alternate T'Challa, Toussaint T'Challa? Like, does he ever make it clear when you say T'Challa that we're talking about the same guy?
Yes, he is always very specific that it is T'Challa, that they are recasting T'Challa. Man, he's been saying this for a while though, but even when I'm combating, like, it ain't looking like it. It's like, there's more I want to tell you. I just can't tell you all this stuff, but just know that they are.
Yeah,
and that's when
he's been saying it before the Jeff Snyder stuff, and Jeff Snyder has changed and told us, nah, bro, look, let's be clear. We're talking about they're taking the sun from another universe. And so has My Time to Shine Hello. But here comes your guy saying it's really, truly T'Challa. Like we always talk about, the general audience, Toussaint is good enough. That's T'Challa enough for us. It's male, so, it's sufficient. And that's what we're up against. This doesn't make me happy at all. This, and in fact, all it does is it makes me look at a deadline, which is July, Comic-Con. Figure out whatever date that is, and maybe get a Recast T'Challa trending day somewhere in between now and then. Do something. What? No, just one.
No. I'm saying. I mean, it would be monumental. Like that would be huge. That would be huge.
Yeah, just to drum up the interest, and maybe if the fans in Comic-Con do a recast chant, it's not WWE, but maybe they could. We can get a chantable phrase.
I mean, because we obviously don't know. Obviously when he tells me this, I am going back and forth with him, but obviously the side of me that is still pushing for the recast, the hopeful side, I guess, is still pushing for the recast, is theorizing and thinking now, okay, well, Kevin Feige said, we haven't fully announced all the names for Avengers Doomsday.
Okay.
If that other half of the cast is announced at Comic-Con because Comic-Con is before or after Fantastic Four. Can't remember. I think Fantastic Four. Yeah.
July 25.
If they do announce that, then maybe you could even see the actor or whatever. I mean, because I'm assuming if you're going to announce that you're recasting T'Challa, you've already had these conversations, and according to Jeff Snyder, they've these offered roles have been offered to different actors and things like that, and blah 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 blah. Let's assume that all that is factual and true. Then you don't want to just say you're recasting T'Challa. Just like when we were saying recast T'Challa and you had everybody going up against it, but then all of a sudden when all these AI images of Aldous Hodge came out, everybody was like, that doesn't look bad. I could see that. You want to probably have whoever you've been talking to come out on stage I don't know about in the suit, but just, I mean, Aldous Hodge doesn't have to do much. Put on that damn suit or muscle shirt he was wearing in whatever. Have him come out, and then, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's true.
Aldous Hodge in the Black Panther suit. That's 100 million within the first 5 minutes views on YouTube. I mean, like right now.
You do the same thing. You do the exact same thing you did. I'm not saying you have all these different, people dressed as Black Panther out there, but have them come out there in the suit and have them take off the mask. Same thing, and let it trump RDJs. I promise you it would. That would be. I'm telling you, it's not that I haven't been live for. I haven't been live for other stuff. Like I said, I had surgery Monday. I was supposed to go back live this week, but so next week I'm going back. But you drop some news like that, I'm up here 5-6 hours. There's things to be talked about. There's theories to be had. This is now a completely different MCU that we're talking about. I'm back invested.
Are you back invested without the clarification?
Pause. Relax.
No.
Yeah. Are you back? If there's no clarification that they're talking about T'Challa, and they could be open to another, and they just say playing T'Challa is Aldous Hodge, I know to you and me that could only mean one thing, but we know how funny they are and finicky they are. If they just say T'Challa, Aldous Hodge, I'm gonna need like someone on the red carpet to ask.
I think if they say we are recasting, because there was never anything to recast with that child, because he was the first, so there's no recast. So if you say we're recasting T'Challa, that to me only has to mean that you finally.
It makes it kind of dangerous to play around like that, right? Like if they were to come right out and say it and brand it as if, this is a son taking over for his father. If they were to take that angle and then just keep calling him T'Challa, that's one thing.
They call him T'Challa in Wakanda Forever at the end.
Right. Yeah. It's another thing for them to be like, we're recasting T'Challa.
Yeah.
And
divine
then
love.
almost gaslight. Oh no, but not to acknowledge the son of it all.
We didn't say which T'Challa.
Only to acknowledge it in the film and basically bait and switch people.
Yeah.
The controversy around that, I think, would extend into white fandom. It would bleed over into Normieville.
We won't get to the film. We won't get that surprise in the film. I think someone will ask before the film. Someone will question and be like, "Hey, who is he playing for reals?" Like, because they do a lot of media.
Yeah.
Someone will clarify that. We're not going to be surprised in the film if they go, "Man, my dad T'Challa is awesome. My aunt Shuri is awesome." They'll never say something.
That would be insane.
If
we went into that movie thinking they recasted T'Challa, and then he says something like, "Man, it really sucks that my dad couldn't see this," or something like that. Fam, oh my God.
It'd be like in Rebound when he was holding the kid up and he finally blew the whistle on the call and he dropped the kid in celebration. That's what it'd be like. I'd be like, nigga, what?
Like, what?
But not for us.
Me?
But not for us, because we would never have our feet in the pool fully and swimming in the pool if we knew that if we didn't have confirmation. Like, my toe is still dipped if they do the Aldous Hodge announcement. He's playing T'Challa. Yeah, but
I still think this is really complicated. They'd be taking a big risk, more so than the standard stupid Marvel stuff, right? Like, you could see them making some slip ups, and there's not enough black people in the room, but that feels like almost on the verge of false advertisement. Like, somebody in legal would be like, we're on some thin ice here. You're playing some really goofy games that could net us a really goofy prize, like a lawsuit. So, like, let's maybe not get sued for false advertisement and actually define who we're talking about here.
Which one of you is taking them to court? Is that you, Darius?
No, people. America is the place of find the craziest way to win $1 million. And so that lawsuit is just sitting there waiting for somebody to take it up.
We called him T'Challa in Wakanda Forever, so we did recast. Legally, they're covered. They're good.
That's not
They'll
what recast means. Like, when they start getting into
Divine Love is an actor who will not play the character anymore, so it's being recasted.
Okay. So again, if we're talking about suing, they will get down to the nitty gritty. They will talk about the empirical. We can play these BS games online.
It's a BS game. You're right.
Right. No, hear me out for a second. That argument can only be had online. They will change it over from the kind of Mickey Mouse of it all to no, tell us who you were talking about, the empirical. Is it T'Challa Jr. or is it T'Challa if they're going to sue? It will stop being a funny, jokey kind of, it could have been T'Challa Jr. thing and be no, you have to tell us what you meant at that time. You got to show us documentation that you actually meant the kid, that you were actually trying to tell people it was the kid, and prove that you weren't false advertising. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it'll stop, it'll cease being, they won't be able to hide it anymore. They'll have to prove it.
If we get to that hypothetical situation,
we get to that hypothetical
where they're sued, which is not coming. It's not happening.
Right. Exactly. No.
Is that
I won't guarantee it's not coming, because again, that's how that kind of stuff happens when you play coy like that. If you're going to play in that water, somebody will be, well, like, hold on, man. Well, they did advertise a recast. They came out, because this is all predicated on them announcing it, right? Them coming out and saying that we're recasting T'Challa. So they won't be able to just bait and switch people. That's against the law. You can't do that. I think it's time, fellas.
But there's like 2 more supers, and I really want, if you gotta go, Marcus, you got.
Yeah, sure. Read the supers and then I can get out of here.
Yeah. Let's go.
You don't show love. Oh yes, son. I'm talking to you. Wanna get with me with no
Michael Nemo gets with us with money. He says Coogler is Lakeith at the Get Out party. Look closely if his nose is bleeding. Study this man. Study. I'm gonna put it back up. Is his nose bleeding?
Oh yeah, man. By the way, Denzel paid for me to
Here.
twist.
Here.
It's real.
That's why it's almost impossible for you to even think about recasting a T'Challa.
Yeah, no,
it's not. I mean, it's.
But with the multiverse, it makes it a little.
I mean, we talk about that next time.
There's so much to read into that, bro. So much to read into that. Is his nose bleeding? I hear you, bro. I hear you. And this was the tweet from Darius. It says, this is from here. The proof's been in plain sight for a while now. It's now up to you on what you want to believe. As I've said many times on stream, the unfortunate fact is Coogler is thinking about recast T'Challa because that character to him is tied to his friend. He has a story to finish and will. I'm with Darius.
So hold on, Darius. Now, what if
before his source?
What if what you're saying is true, but it's the first story that he wrote, the original story that he wrote for Chadwick Boseman, and that's the story that he needs to finish.
And like I'm fine with that. As I said before, I was never against the kid. I was against the kid in the absence of his father, T'Challa.
Yep.
If you wanted to do the kid, that was fine. But killing T'Challa was just unnecessary. So if you want to do that story, I'm fine.
If we're being honest, the original story, if we're taking him at his word, was what was it? Summer school or it was
summer break, summer vacation or something like that.
Summer vacation or some shit like that. Yeah. Where it was supposed to be T'Challa and his son making up for lost time. Well, damn, if this ain't lost time, a whole funeral, moving to Haiti, you know what I'm saying? Your auntie taking over the mantle and M'Baku sitting the throne. Fam, talk about lost time. So if there really is a completed story from its inception that needed to happen, that's where we got to start. Not empty fucking coffins sent up in space in a body we never saw. You know, that's not it. That's not where we started.
Agreed. Agreed.
That's for you, Blue. Trying to come up here and take my chair. God. Anyone but me want to see MCU Black Panther with the cape? I want to see it because I want to see different I want to have so many versions and so many toys of MCU Black Panther that they have to bring out the cape. Just like every Spider-Man movie, he's got the iron suit. He's got the suit inside out. He's got like these different variations. I want to see so much Black Panther. Give me the cape. I don't like the cape, but give it to me once.
Because they don't really have that much variance in costumes in the MCU, I feel like if they give Black Panther a cape, he's going to look like Doctor Strange.
But it depends on how they do it.
That's my fear.
If it's the one that's like, you know, what the only cape, there's more. Not the long one, but the one that's not as long, kind of cuts off. Shit, I have a figure of him with it on. I'm not opposed to that one. Like where it's really not that long.
I'm not really thinking about the length. I'm thinking about the cow part, the upward.
Oh, the cow.
That stuff. I'm thinking that's probably going to look a lot like the cape from Doctor Strange because they don't differentiate all that much. Like the suit, literally, Doctor Doom's mask is the Iron Man mask. It's going to be the Iron Man mask. That's what it's going to be.
If that is true, that is so terrible. That is awful. Another time, but that's awful.
It's going to be the Iron Man mask. Look at Spider-Man's suit in Infinity War and Endgame. It's an iron spider. It's Iron Spider. Okay, there's not that much variation in the super suits in the MCU. So if they've got two guys that got that upward lift on their cape, I don't trust them to make it that much different from Doctor Strange. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they used it as an inspiration if they were putting it in there.
We'll see a different color of the teeth that are around his neck. It'll be gold next time.
Yep.
He said it was too flashy, actually, so
gold.
I can't do that. No, white, not silver, white.
Who said it was too flashy?
T'Challa said it. He said like the point is not to be seen, and he told Shuri to choose the next suit.
Well, if we're getting a variant and it's supposed to be recasted, that T'Challa said that. This T'Challa might be like, hey, we blinged out when we drop in. He might have I like the gold.
It's such a dream scenario. It's such a dream scenario that this new scoop, this new little leak, it is for us. The questions that Ryan Coogler is going to answer during his Sinners run has started. We told you this would happen, and it's happening. Sinners comes out in 7 days. This is where we still haven't seen the collection of, where he's sitting down, the Sinners poster is there, and someone's asking him an interview, like that little 10-minute spot that they do. Collider used to always get them.
He didn't even talk to Van Latham yet. Wait till he talk to Van.
No, they're going to avoid Van just for that reason. You kidding me?
Yeah, because Van's going to just ask. Van's going to just ask it.
They'll do The View. They've done Fallon. I think like after Charlemagne and Shannon Sharp, they're like, wait, is the POC turning on us? Are they going to keep asking us about T'Challa?
Who is next on his list before we cut out? Who is next on his list on this press tour?
Who interviews for WB films that are not franchises? Who? It's not going to be a Brandon Davis guy.
Anybody else is going to push the issue, push the question.
It's not going to be that Collider guy, the bald one, that Screen Rant guy who asked Jonathan Majors question to my boy, to Feige. It's not going to be him. It's a Warner Brothers Sinners film. Like the best he can hope for is Black Media. E-Man is going to be asking him a question, but I don't think we're going to get the answer. I don't know. I shouldn't. Well, we got to wait and see for that.
I expect it to be. Well, again, it could break the internet. Maybe he's playing coy over something that he got that he didn't expect to get. But I expect it to be a little bit like the Nate Moore answer that he got about recasting. We had to do what we could do. It was an emotional time. Maybe we're not shutting the door. Never say never. But we had to make the movie we can make. I expect it to sound very much so like Nate Moore's response.
It's also a Sinners interview. I'm talking about E-Man right now. He's going to be interviewing about Sinners.
About Sinners, yeah.
One in your 7-minute, however time you get. One recast question in. No follow-up on we're talking about Toussaint, right? Or T'Challa. Which one? I don't think it's coming.
Again, man, I want the man to break the internet with the recast answer that we all want. I want it to happen. Do I think that they would give that to E-Man? I don't think so. I don't think so. Folks, I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in to Pantheon. I got to get up out of here. Darius and Chill's going to finish us out. Follow me at Back of the Bus. Follow Pantheon Clips. Trying to get that channel going. I don't know why y'all not watching it. It's a great way to rewatch Pantheon.
Pantheon
sure
Clips.
Head over there and follow up. Like all those videos over there. There'll be more content to come. Chill, Darius. Appreciate y'all, boys. I'll see y'all next week.
Peace out.
Peace.
That's evil. I typed in the name of the channel. I'm looking for the link so I can put it in the chat. The Pantheon Clips channel does not show up on the first page of Google.
Yeah, I think I went looking for it one time too and couldn't find it.
Got it.
But as far as that news goes, we'll see. They say Comic-Con. We'll see about Comic-Con. From there, we wait.
Dan the Man said, new scoop, not from me, from Darius. Darius is the scooper. What happened, please, Cornelius? Laurel and Martin does not care about entertainment. True. Blurred Comics. I don't know who that outlet is. What?
Well, no, hell no. He won't be the
Kugler
one.
going to Drink Champs? Nah, he wouldn't do that. I don't think Disney would allow him to do that. Supposedly some relation with a high school. Oh, okay. If it's black, he does. Stamina said, "Oh, unless that's another one somehow, that's not a new thing. He used to date a streamer. It's a separate Pantheon channel. Yeah, it is. Just subscribe. Appreciate that, bro. Just more clips of us. Fuck. Anyone else have anything to say? You got 5 more minutes until we go over. I think the Jedi Mike segment went longer, and I think it did. It went longer than I wanted it to. So, chill, you're not reading the comments correctly. All right, Raymond, why don't you do it? Raymond, what if I give you an invitation link? You know, we're down one host. Raymond, here's the link for Raymond only. No? Raymond?
It would be another night. We don't have time. We don't have time.
Jedi Mike was epic. Just dropped in. What's the scoop, Darius? Rewind 30 minutes. You'll hear everything. Sway in the morning.
TLDR, they might, from what I've heard, grain of salt, who knows, announced a recasting of T'Challa at Comic-Con.
Where's Tina? I don't know. Whatever. She was in here earlier.
She was. Me and Tina, we on the same page.
Sensitive, are we? Yep. 2K, you tripping. Type your correctly. All right, yeah, we're done. Thanks everyone for jumping in here, bro. On behalf of Marcus and Chill, on behalf of Darius and Q and Corey and the fourth guy who we were supposed to see but we haven't seen yet. On behalf of everybody.
No, sorry, I had surgery Monday, so when I tell you I haven't done anything, this is the first thing I've done. I've been in bed. I'm debating if I want to work tomorrow. I should, but who knows? I might still be in pain. I'm still in pain, but it's not like where I couldn't work, but who knows? So yeah, that's real. That's real. Surgery was real. So next week is when you will be back.
Copy that. Thanks all for coming for another successful week of Pantheon. Let me just double check that all the super chats were addressed. Looks like it.
Thank you very much on the get well soon. Thank you all.
Pantheon
Peace out.
Hey, I've been watching y'all every single time on Thursday and Friday because I swear to God, y'all switch up every now and then. But rock out. I'm fucking with it. I'm out.
Thank you, Josh.
Appreciate it.
I doubt.